Virtual Cantina Network's Watchalong. In case you haven't guessed it, we're watching, some old guy in a hat. Um, and these are not the usual old guys in hats. It's not Jeff and it's not Spencer. I am joined by JT and AJ, the nerve herders. What is going on, guys? How are you?
What's up, man? Thanks for having us.
I am.
Yeah, man, this is great. Much better than my usual Thursday nights.
Yeah.
Well, your usual Thursday night should be watching us watching along. That's where you should be. I'm just saying.
Well, that's why he said it's better, because now we're on, and it's a movie that we love. Because what was the one you guys did last? I was like, yeah, I'm not into that. Was it like Christmas Vacation or something? Or
Oh no, we did regular Vacation.
That's right. Yeah, I am not a Vacation fan. I'm not a Chevy Chase guy, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play some Jedi Survivor.
I mean that one is a taste and a thing, and we talked very much about how that one is. You could not get away with and do that today.
No.
In fact, they tried to get away with and do that today, and the new Vacation is just god awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I caught
they have
bits
a
and
new
pieces
one?
of that one.
I didn't know they had one.
So yeah, they
Really?
did one where they replaced. It wasn't even one of the actors that played Rusty, but it was like Rusty's family going on a vacation. It was bad.
Oh
It was
no.
like, wasn't Ed Boon, I think, started
I
that
don't
one?
remember who it was. There were these.
It was the dentist from The Hangover, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And just my recollection of that movie was just way too many random penises. It's just not. No.
So the absence of Chevy Chase created just a
No.
plethora of
Chevy
dick
Chase
jokes.
was in it.
Was he a major? Did he have a major role?
Well, I mean, not. It wasn't minor. It wasn't like just a brief cameo, but it was bringing. It was the whole thing. It was like an official Vacation movie. No, they
No
just
kidding.
replaced the kids the way they tend to replace the kids.
Right. Anthony Michael Hall goes to like 7 other people in those movies.
Yeah.
Well, Indiana Jones doesn't have that problem. There is no
No.
replacing of any actors in the entire series.
No, and I hope to goodness that they don't. I don't want to see this. I think that this, spoilers for tonight. I think this is a fitting finale.
Yes.
Is please let it be. I don't want 3 years from now to see, Chris Pratt in this role. Just don't.
Would you take a short round movie?
Oh, all day. All day.
That dude is killing it.
I don't
Awesome
know
in Loki season.
why he wasn't in this movie. That was your setup if you wanted another sequel. Is he should have been here. He could have easily played the role of the goddaughter. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been short round and we moved on.
Oh man, I don't know. Would it have been? AJ uses this term all the time. Would it have been too much member berries?
That's all this movie is.
When it's done, okay. Fan service, and these are some movies that we should watch on here. Fan service, when fan service is done right, is right. Rise of Skywalker, not so much, but Ghostbusters Afterlife, Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, perfect film. Perfect film.
You can do sequels well. Yes, you absolutely can. And like you said, man, the way they in the last 2 movies, this one and the previous one, where they invented new characters that apparently knew Indiana Jones for a really long time. So you had to get attached to them the same way Indiana Jones was supposed to be, but you just met them. This is the perfect opportunity to not have to do that. Just bring Short Round back, and there you go.
Yeah, or take a deep cut like they did with Top Gun Maverick. Penny Benjamin gets that much of a mention in one movie, but that's the new character that we did. So it wasn't
so good.
Yes, that's where you go.
I'll never forget sitting in the theater next to my buddy who is an enormous Top Gun fan. And when they say, yeah, Penny Benjamin, and she shows up, he leans over to me, whispers in my ear and goes, Penny Benjamin. And I go, and you asshole. Like, I mean, it was literally a live action quote from the first movie. It was I couldn't believe he set it up. And as soon as I did it, he was like making an ass of himself in the theater, laughing so hard over that moment. But we're not here to talk about Top Gun Maverick. But anyway, just it was, you know.
Yeah, we're here to talk about a sequel that came out 15 years after the previous movie.
Yeah.
Well,
I hear.
Wait, that's the same thing.
Right?
Actually, wait a minute. I just realized was it 15 years between Last Crusade and Crystal Skull?
No, because it was 89 to 2008.
Okay, so it was a little bit longer then. Okay.
Yeah. And Crystal Skull was well worth the wait. And since Spencer's not here, he can't refute me and be wrong live on camera.
I'm just more excited to watch this movie, so I'm going to move right past. I'm going to move right past Crystal Skull because you know my feelings on that. There's a reason that you had to defend that thing when I wasn't available to do the podcast. He waited until I was off the show, and he's like, I know what we're talking about.
Do you really think you'd have gotten a word in edgewise? You're wrong on that movie. Sorry. And Dave obviously agrees because the eye roll I got when I mentioned it was like, oh boy.
So we did a thing with we did a watch along of Crystal Skull a while back before you guys joined the network. And we did it with our dear departed friend Rich, who hated that movie with a passion. And we purposely brought him in to do the watch along just because we figured, oh shit, this is going to be a train wreck. He is going to burn it down. And he was such a gentleman and on his best behavior because he was like live and on the podcast. And I'm like, damn it, we wanted you to go ham on this. But no, my stance on Crystal Skull is going to be, there are parts of that movie that feel very Indiana Jones and in the original vein. And then there are just large chunks of it that go off the rails.
Yes.
You know, I totally get where you were going with kind of like the Stargate kind of concept of, yes, we came from all these aliens and everybody's the same and kumbaya and blah, blah, blah. But just how you get there, man.
I'm not gonna say it's like perfect. It's definitely, if I was ranking the movies, it would definitely be 5 out of 5 would be the last place movie. But you know, I went into that movie wanted to see Indiana Jones kick ass, and Indiana Jones was running around kicking ass. And I was like, it's, you know, I completely, the one thing that got me about that movie was how many fans were like, oh, that's bullcrap. He wouldn't have survived that. He wouldn't have survived that. Oh, the monkeys. I was like, have you been watching Indiana Jones for, I mean, seriously, like he opens the ark and ghosts come out, for Christ's sakes. Like, I mean, like, dude, like, you know, hearts being ripped out of chests and people still living, like the Holy Grail. I mean, but you know, he gets shot at in the rafters and the bad guys miss. And that's what puts you over the edge. A refrigerator.
Yeah, we draw the line at surviving a nuclear explosion in a refrigerator. That's where we draw the line.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that Indiana Jones has always struggled with, because it's such a long-running franchise, it's like Star Wars in that it's covered the same amount of time in the real world as a franchise, but it doesn't have nearly the number of movies behind it. So every time it comes out, it's like filming has moved on to a new style, and then Indiana Jones comes out and tries to be the same thing it was, and audiences just aren't really accepting of that. Like, I think this one is so much better than Crystal Skull because while it has a ton of Indiana Jones DNA in it, it also tells a modern style story and movie.
But it plays
Jones
into,
as a character has never been this deep.
Well, and it plays into exactly what you just said. You know, I mean,
Skull was just trying to be the first 3 movies again, but audiences weren't going to put up with that from a movie put out in 2008.
Well, and you've got to remember, that when George and Stephen made Indiana Jones, they were trying to make a movie in a style from 30 or 40 years prior to that, even.
Yeah.
They were making a movie series. They were making a serial. That was their point. So, yeah, it's an old style.
I think, AJ, to your point, it's definitely, I mean, this movie is exactly what you just said. It was, this wasn't trying to just be the first three movies, and it was a little more human and stuff like that. And it was, but I mean, also to your point, Dave, like, saying it was the other movies were like movies made like 30, 40 years ago. In a way, Crystal Skull was kind of the same way because, it was 2008. Raiders was 81. So they were kind of doing the same sort of thing. And as much as I love the movie, and I will forever be an apologist for it, I think that had it been a better movie for a wider range of fans, like, I love it. I'm like, it's Indiana Jones. Just serve me up. I don't care what shit sandwich you serve me. It's Indiana Jones. I'm gonna eat it. Like, but other people have higher standards, and if it had been a lot closer in quality to the original three, I think people would have loved it, even though it was just trying to replicate what was already there. And I don't think it hit those I don't think it hit those levels. I didn't think it hit those heights. So I could see why people don't like it.
Well, I mean, that's the same argument that you have for The Force Awakens.
Well, the Force Awakens, because The Force Awakens is, after the first 45 minutes, just a remake of a movie we've already seen. So that's not even trying.
Well, you just said the other thing we're going for.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's
one thing to be in the style of. There's one thing to rip off the story of.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a. Damn it! I'm trying to think of a musical way to phrase it because I'm thinking. I can't like Force Awakens was like a Weird Al tune. Like, you love the original song, and then here comes this dude, and it sounds kind of the same, but it makes fun of it. Like, it's, as opposed to like somebody coming along and writing a song in that style.
It's more not even they weren't making fun of it. They were getting away with copying it and fooling it. I think it was Under Pressure and Ice Ice Baby. That's what it was. It's just, here, change it up a little bit. Nobody will notice.
Well, there's the musical analogy I was looking for. So, yeah, but I'm sorry. Like, I mean, it's right there in the movie. Like, that thing's like the Death Star. No, it's bigger. Like, oh, come on. I mean, they were so blatant as to put it in the dialogue with a giant graphic on the screen. Like, did you have to say that? Like, honestly, that's where you go. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like Crystal Skull did its own job of nostalgia play by bringing Marion back.
But you got to marry.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
but they did that in this one, and it worked. I thought it worked.
Yes,
that's the thing. That's the thing. I want you to keep this in mind, JT, as we watch this. Think of all the things that this movie does right, and then think of how they tried that same thing 15 years ago, and it didn't work. Just compare the two. Like, Marion shows up in this one. Marion showed up in that one. Which one is the better version of Marion?
Well, yeah. But you got like 2 minutes of Marion in this one, and it was supposed to be like the emotional climax. Like, she was supposed to be a main character and telling part of Indy's backstory in the last one. It's a little different. And besides, I love Crystal Skull, and you're not going to talk me out of it. So just let's shut up and watch another awesome Indiana Jones movie.
I'm in favor of that. Yes.
So let me hit you with this one, Mike. You're saying Crystal Skull out of the 5 is 5th. Where's this one?
Yes.
Where's Dial of Destiny?
Okay. This is not a cop-out. Okay.
Oh, God. It's the Star Wars conundrum.
This is not a cop-out. To me, it stands outside the other ones.
Yeah, when there's so many top spots already locked up.
Well, no, it's
not a slam on this movie to say that it doesn't get the top 3 spots.
It's a separate category for me.
Oh, it's adjacent. It's outside the ranking, huh?
Yeah, because this movie humanizes Indiana Jones in a way. It's like different from the other movies. AJ, like you said, it kind of is more modern in a way. It's different from the other films, yet still has that Indiana Jones to it. Like, when I saw this in the theater, I was sitting next to my buddy. We could not wait to see it. And after the first like 25 minutes, we looked at each other and whispered, we're like, dude, I just got my money's worth. This movie could end right now. And it's like 25 minutes long. I'd be like, okay, it's worth it. Like, that's Indiana Jones. And then the rest of the movie kicks in. And it, to me, I always use the word humanize. It humanizes Indiana Jones. And for that reason, I set it aside from the other movies because it paints the other movies in a different light because of how you see Indiana Jones because of this movie. Like, it adds depth and feeling to the other movies that wasn't previously there. So I eventually I'll probably rank it somewhere. Just for right now, I can't. It's outside of that because I just see it as a separate entity that is like, that's, it's making the other films better. And so to put it in with the other films is kind of difficult for me.
Okay.
What do you think, AJ?
I think, okay, so I'll keep this short because I really do want to get onto to watching this movie.
Sorry, Dave.
But in
we got 11 minutes. We will start on the top of the hour. We're good. Okay. Everybody just be getting your D+ ready and listen to us.
Okay. All right. Okay. I thought we were taking up too much time here. I think that this one has to be fourth by default, just because the first three are like such a unit together. To kick one of those out in favor of this is just something I can't bring myself to do. It's like when we tried to rank the Star Wars movies. The original trilogy is always going to be 1, 2, 3. It's just going to be. And but it's not to say that it wasn't. It's not to say that fourth place in a ranking like this means it's a bad movie. It just means that the top 3 spots are so good that you can't make a case to put this to say that this is better than one of those 3. I would say you might be able to try to argue for Temple of Doom, but I happen to love that one.
I do too.
It's the weakest of the 3 of the originals, but all 3 of those are kind of like Indiana Jones frozen in time. Like, the character doesn't really progress from one movie to the next. You get some of that in Last Crusade with his dad being introduced, but otherwise, Indy is still like prime of his life action hero guy. It's not until Crystal Skull that they even deal with the fact that time moves on and maybe Indy doesn't, and that's kind of the crux of the character, is that he's a relic.
Yeah.
He himself is a relic, which of course is the irony of being an archaeologist in the first place.
Right.
And I think in terms of that, that's one of the reasons why this one is easily over Crystal Skull, because this one I think addresses that way better. But I can't really put this one above Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark, or Last Crusade. So it's just got to be fourth because we're out of spots.
All right, Dave. Now you're on the spot. Where would you put it?
So I think almost I would go with Raiders, Temple, and then almost this and Crusade as a tie for kind of the same reasons that John was talking about, is that Last Crusade really does humanize him. We see him as a boy. We see the motivations. Why is he chasing the Cross of Coronado as an adult? We get to see all of the good stuff that they spun off into. And I love some young Indiana Jones Chronicles. I'm just telling you, I love me some of that.
Okay. Okay. No more Indiana Jones movies, but if they want to try another stab at a prequel series with a young Indiana Jones, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
that was a show that was ahead of its time.
So what we were talking about before, if they had done this, if you had put Short Round in the Helena Shaw role, this would have tied. This would have been this and Last Crusade. It's family coming together, and if you'd done that, those 2 movies would have been dead even. But yes. Same thing is it's going to have to be fourth because it can't be better than those 3 because of that. Because just the random new character, I'm his goddaughter that he doesn't even remember or recognize when he sees me for the first time. No.
See, but I think that the Helena character kind of was cool because like the whole movie, it added a little bit of angst. Like, okay, is she good? Is she bad? Like, what the hell's going on here? Like, is she going to turn on him? Is like at any moment, like it kind of added that little bit of.
But if they had done that same thing with Short Round, how much more emotional would it have been? Is Short Round the bad guy?
Yeah, Short Round was. I mean, he was He was a grifter in Temple of Doom, so it wouldn't be a stretch to say like he just kind of fell to the dark side, so to speak, since he parted ways with Indy.
Dude, I don't know when it's the last Indiana Jones movie, do you really want to see Short Round and have it be like all of a sudden he's a bad guy half the time? Like, I mean,
he wouldn't have been. He'd come back in, and it had been, and then the last scene is. We should do this when we're watching, but the last scene is I'm putting on the hat.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I don't know. I just if they would have brought in Short Round and like, I wonder if that would have been too much for the movie, because I think I would have liked a little bit more Sala. I thought the use of Marion was pretty much perfect based on the story. I think if you bring in, Short Round, you start getting into, okay, how many is the movie going to get weighed down by how much of this nostalgia you have? And also, I mean, I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if I would have been cool with like seeing Short Round like doing the back and forth. I'm like, but it's Short Round, man. Like, I mean, like you can't have Short Round like potentially like, turning his back on Indy. I'll never see Indy again. Like that would just like completely mess me up. So I don't know. And it's weird. Like, and it's so strange because like see, now you said Chris Pratt couldn't pull it off. I got to admit, I saw him like photoshopped.
We will fight right there. We will fight. Okay, say the right character can pull it off. Who is it? Because I don't know.
I just when I saw Chris Pratt photoshopped into the Indy stuff, I was like, man, he even looks like him. And I don't know. At least the look wouldn't be jarring.
Well, yeah, but then you get the ridiculousness of, DC is, replacing Henry Cavill with the Wish.com version of Henry Cavill. So, like, don't do that.
What a great reference. Yeah, I mean,
I put Alden Ehrenreich in the role. Be done.
Yeah. Seriously, there you go. Have Alden Ehrenreich do it. If that wouldn't be the most perfect casting ever, that would be amazing. AJ, you just nailed it. All right, my answer is done.
That would be the ultimate middle finger to the fandom. Be like, oh, didn't like Solo, did you? Well, here he is again.
He's both, just like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse than that. They could continue the story with Shia LaBeouf.
There's a heavy hit right
and
there.
The air went out of the room.
See, as much as I like Crystal Skull, I thought
drive a man to drink.
I mean, as much as I like Crystal Skull, I don't have a problem with the concept of the character of Mutt. I think the presentation of it does get me though. Like he's a greaser, he's an a-hole, whatever. Like I just think he should have been a little closer to Indiana Jones, and to kind of make it was just too jarring, I think. And it was, it just,
well, wasn't the whole point of it that he kind of like he didn't have the influence of Indiana Jones in his life. So if you take someone who's got the DNA of Indiana Jones, but you don't put any structure around him like Indy grew up with from his father, you do get a turd of a person, basically.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I love Crystal Skull, but I definitely see the reasons why people don't like it. And Mutt is a huge reason. What was it? The whole like Marlon Brando Rebel Without a Cause or whatever the hell it was. Like I'm bad at the
it was really that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but
and it's also just a shame that like the actor is such a pariah now that even if it had been a good role, it's like trying to watch Kevin Spacey do Lex Luthor in Superman Returns at this point.
Oh no, he was great in that role.
He was great in that role, but no, then have to realize that you're watching Kevin Spacey.
Yeah,
but
it will be interesting to see how
It's like watching a good Chris Benoit match, dude.
Bird is totally out of the trailers for the new Aquaman.
Yes, I noticed that. Yes. But see, that one I understand, but like with the Lex Luthor thing, like guys, don't you think that like Kevin Spacey turning out to be a complete piece of crap just adds to how vile he is as Lex Luthor? It's almost like life imitates art, you know?
Yeah, it's like method acting.
Like,
well, I mean, if Kevin Spacey had like tried to take over a foreign country, I think we would have accepted it. But there's a line.
Right? Hamas and Israel, cool. What Kevin Spacey did, no, dude, you're out. We're not going to put up with that crap.
Unacceptable.
Disappointed.
So, all right, we got 1 minute down, counting down, people. So everybody get your D pluses queued up. I think mine's gone to sleep, so I gotta like wake it up.
I was gonna say I've not done one of these before, so
I'm at 0.
Pretend I'm the audience and instruct me on what I'm supposed to be doing here.
Well, I'm at 0.
All right. So if you have never done this before, what you need to do is open your D plus on another screen, on a computer, on your TV, anywhere. I've got it queued up right here on my phone. And you know, turn down the sound, turn on the closed captions, listen to us, listen to the movie. Just get ready to press play. I've got it just queued up like a hit play, let it think about it, and I've got it paused right there on that opening the D plus screen. And then when we're all ready and set, we'll count it down and press play on the little timestamp, and you guys can keep up and we'll watch along. So if you guys have it going there, just make sure you kind of have your volume down, because if the audio actually gets into the live feed on Facebook, it will shut us down.
Imagine that, AJ. Who knew? You dumbass.
I don't think that was the audio. I think that was you guys were actually playing the video of the movie. I think that was the hand slap there.
Don't say you guys. Point to the dude that's, you know, I'm sorry, other way. Point to the dude that on your screen is to my right.
Hey, in my defense, we had tried that already on a previous stream and it worked. The frame rate just needs to be lower. When you set it to 1 frame every 5 seconds, it's still enough to not trip any copyright problems.
Oh, good Lord.
Nice. Oh, I'm not objecting. I think that's a valid concept. I like the concept of just having sort of an image to keep people in the same kind of place. I think that's a innovative thing. It just happened to like shut down the network.
See, clearly my brother doesn't even watch the episodes of our own show that he's not on, because we did an episode of a Star Trek drinking game called Trek ABV, and that's what we did. We had an episode of Voyager running in a window, but it was 1 frame every 5 seconds. And yeah.
Well, nice. you screwed the pooch. So I was all right. So I've got my Disney Plus up. I already skipped the commercial because apparently the commercial pops up real quick. I'm at 0, and my timer says 2 hours, 37 minutes, and 15 seconds.
Yep, that's right where I am. So everybody ready, good, steady, and we are gonna hit the 10-second countdown. So here we go in 10. And there we are. Disney 100 logo. And now you're back to the old school Paramount.
How did I not know that Paramount was involved in this franchise, by the way? I always assumed it was just Lucasfilm. Love the cold open.
Oh, yeah. And the unexpected is you're expecting, but you're unexpecting. It's like, oh, who's under the hat? Is it in? How's it? Is it CGI? What's going on?
This this little bit right here was the one thing that was ruined by the trailer, of course, because you see the scene of him having the hood pulled off.
There we go.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just darn good right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's man.
I wonder what that's like as Harrison Ford to like see this finished product and be like, it's like you filmed me from 40 years ago.
But you can hear the old man Harrison in the voice.
Yeah.
They've got to be able to. They got to fix that. I mean,
I wonder if they.
Go ahead.
I wonder if they sped his voice up, because we've seen interviews with him and obviously seeing him at Celebration and stuff, and he definitely talks slower.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they just basically sped up what he was saying.
It could be.
This whole opening scene is just so good. I mean, again, like I said earlier, how do you not go to the theater and you see this whole opening scene and be like, this is exactly what I paid my money for?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this movie, it was one of those things where it like had movies within movies within movies. Like,
Yeah.
you know, this whole section, great. Yay. Happy about it. But then you have you have the middle section that's your character development and building, and then you go back to like hard action again at the end, or in the, you know, late third.
Yeah, and I think they did a really good job of balancing it out. So, like in Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones was still doing Indiana Jones things the whole way throughout, and this one, he lets the other characters take most of the heavy lifting, because it's like the writers even understood, like at his age, Indiana Jones would not be able to pull this stuff off. So let's like minimize his physical workload.
Yeah, I mean, they play to his age, which I think was
Yeah.
probably the smartest thing they could have done. You know, it has the Indiana Jones stuff in it, but they, you know, they fully admit the guy's like, you know, 70, whatever, at least in the movie. And they play around it, which is awesome.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but he's been
weird?
doing that. He's been doing that forever. I mean, you know, like what they harken back to in this latest, like it's not the years, it's the miles.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's been saying that for a long time.
I just
okay. I don't know what was so weird about that last scene, but the CGI face was fine. The de-aging looked fine. It was the rope around his neck that looked fake to me.
Oh yeah.
It's the dumbest thing, but
well, like the rug holding the bomb from going in, and you're just like, let it explode or it. Come on. He's in the same like building with this thing. He's gone. It's the whole it's the refrigerator again. But
yeah, which is amazing. I mean, it's amazing.
But I mean, it's not without the president. He's in impossible situations, and it's Indiana Jones.
And plus, sometimes he is just stupid lucky.
Yeah, but that's part of it. You know,
well,
like
they played with that in Last Crusade, where literally it's the 4-leaf clover on the lighter that we used to get out, and then it's the unlucky because it sets everything on fire. And
yeah,
yep. Oh, that train is so cool looking, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the train gave me, I mean, very like retro but modern, like Batman the Animated Series vibes.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's like those trains actually existed, which is like AJ and I grew up watching trains and collecting Lionel trains and stuff. And so for me, at least, like seeing those two steam engines was like, oh my God, that's awesome.
This whole scene also gives me very large Hellboy vibes. The intro of Hellboy. I don't know if I don't.
Yeah, good call.
Okay, so JT, who did it better? Captain America: The First Avenger or Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny?
They're equal. You're not getting me on that.
I'm just talking about the whole historical fiction of the Nazis kind of thing.
Oh, they're both great. I mean, Indiana Jones is more realistic because it's not supposed to be a comic book, but they're both excellent.
Yeah, I like the fun that they have a little bit with this is how somewhat clueless the Nazis are for the longest time because he's walking around with the giant gunshot wound over his heart,
Right.
front and back. And then they're like, oh, wait, look, that guy should be dead.
Wait a minute. This isn't right. See, this is right there.
Yes.
Oh, come on. Oh,
Okay.
this movie's so good.
So I was just in Walt Disney World. I went down for Thanksgiving. And yes, love me some Star Wars. I need to go build a lightsaber. It was a thing. But on my list was my favorite store next to the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, where you can buy what? Indiana Jones hats. It's closed. Disney.
What?
Oh.
Why is it closed?
I did not get to see the Stunt Spectacular when I was down there. That's the one thing I've missed.
So I've seen the show before, and I knew next to the show there was an entire Indiana Jones shop. It's right where you used to sign up for the I forget what they call it, the Junior Jedi Experience or whatever. There was like a little alcove thing, but there was a shop, and you could get fedoras. Nope, closed, done.
Like they're closed permanently?
Yeah, I believe so. There does not appear to be anything in the shop anymore.
That's bullcrap, man. I didn't even get to go there. I would have bought the hell out of a fedora.
I know.
I understand that obviously they don't do a lot with Indiana Jones. They've only made 5 movies in like 4 decades or whatever, but come on. I mean, if you're going to have any presence at the park, you got to at least like commit to it.
Well, and I mean, there are things. They made Black Series for this movie.
Did they?
Pretty sure.
They have Indiana Jones Black Series?
All right.
Yes!
Let me say that I am not talking out of my ass. And there's the classic music.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh.
All right. Anybody in the comments, like, let me know if I. Let's see. Hasbro Pulse Adventure Series Indiana Jones. So I think it's essentially the Black Series, but they're just not calling it the Black Series.
Wow. Damn it, Dave. I'm trying to save money, not spend it.
Nope. You're welcome. It's down the rabbit hole with the thing. Let's see. Oh, but they're sold out, so at least Indy is.
eBay is a wonderful thing.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see. Who do we have on this? The whole adventure series. Yeah. I don't want to see the whole thing. All right. There's Indy, and there's a Indy from Last Crusade. There's Henry Jones Sr., the Knight, Elsa Schneider. They've got Voller from this movie, Ronaldo, Antonio Banderas from this movie, Marcus Brody and Belloc from Ark.
Have to.
Cairo, Indiana Jones, Helena Shaw, Short Round, Indy from Dial of Destiny, shirtless Indy that's hypnotized from Temple of Doom. Yeah. So, and there's just more. Professor Indy in the suit, Walter Donovan, Marion with the monkey.
See, they need to have the professor or the government guy, I should say, from the beginning and end of Raiders, and he comes with a X-Wing costume, so you could make him the government guy, or then you can make him Porkins.
Yes. No, but there's a whole series, and I don't know. They're all of them sold out.
Damn it, Dave! I'm sending you a bill.
No, at least some of them are available right now. There's the Marion. Marion's totally there. Yeah, don't feel bad because I'm sitting here, and the reason I've got Pulse open in the opposite window is it's Ghostbusters HasLab is come and do it again.
There we go.
But yeah, I mean, I really like the Voller character here. I think he does a really convincing. He becomes this kind of smarmy but lower level Nazi in this, but then you don't necessarily see him becoming the big bad.
Yeah. It's funny because having taken 9 years of German back in high school and won an award in the state, like anytime I watch movies where they're speaking German, I can understand a good portion of it, but you can
Yeah.
also tell like when they actually have actors that are either German descent or lived in Germany, like it is very much a different sound.
Mm.
And I always find myself judging like a total dick. That guy's not from Germany.
So, had any of you ever heard of this artifact before?
No,
I had not.
Okay.
I mean,
I
it is
didn't
a real
know if
thing,
there was like a thing because, of course, you've heard of the Lost Ark, you've heard of the Ark of the
Yeah.
Covenant there. You've heard of the Holy Grail. I even heard of the lance, right? The lance in this part, but the Dial of Destiny, the Antikythera, I never heard of it.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
I'm just glad the movie was structured like this because there was all these concerns with all the flashback scenes that were shown as promo images that it was going to be some sort of time travel story. And I mean, like an actual time travel story where old Indiana Jones goes back to like younger Indiana Jones times.
Mm.
Well, I thought it was going to be a bunch of flashbacks. And I
yeah,
thought
that or
I
yeah, like a
thought they would use
dual
like the de-aging as a
storyline
crutch.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of like Lucasfilm and whatever has gotten kind of good at throwing us wrong for that because that's what we thought they were going to do with the Ahsoka series too.
Yeah. I mean, they're awesome at the trailers because you never know. You can't take anything in the trailers seriously at all.
No. Find the hat, and I love just the few notes of the John Williams when he sees the hat.
Yeah, you're right. The voice needs a little bit of work still.
Yeah, it's old grumpy Harrison. It's not young. It's not middle aged. It's no. That is the no. I'm here for the.
Yeah, it almost makes like Tarkin and Rogue One a little bit of an easier situation because that actor's not still alive to do the voice.
Yeah.
So you don't have to deal with like telling the guy like you don't sound like you anymore. I'm sorry, buddy.
Well, who's to say someone didn't tell Harrison that and he just told them to go screw themselves?
Right.
Right.
It's like, no, I'm getting paid. Is you deal with what I give you. Because it's not like this is not George and Stephen doing this movie. Them he might actually have to listen to. New people, Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
No, you're here for me. I'm not here for you.
Which I think definitely serves the character well. It's like if you're playing that character, you know him the best, regardless of the writing. And
I'm not arguing at all. I think much could have been turned around, served, and done way, way differently had you listened to Mark Hamill during The Last Jedi. But
Oh no, are we gonna get into that one too?
I just said I'm willing to just put that out there and let it drop.
Oh, man, see, so I'll skip over that because I'm also a huge fan of the Last Jedi. This movie always kind of strikes me as like The Mandalorian, where it feels like it looks like it's amazing, but it's somebody else doing it, and somehow they managed to nail the feel and everything while adding a modern, like, and a modern twist to it, like a depth to it. Um, that I think, with George Lucas and Steven Spielberg were so close to it
Mhm.
that they couldn't have added. And it's got
Well,
that
I mean,
kind of fan feel to it. I love it.
no, I mean, definitely the people that made this movie have watched Indiana Jones before. This is
Yeah.
not like, the Star Wars Holiday Special. Is,
Yes.
these people have seen it. And by the way, I was watching, I was telling John, I think before you got here, AJ, I was just watching your show from last night before this. 2 thumbs up. Very nice. It's good observations, both on the special and the documentary. Is the special is like what, and then the documentary very informative, very good. If you guys out there have not seen this, is go look on the Virtual Cantina Network and on the Nerf Herder page, and go find the Nerf Herder Council's episode on what's the name of the movie? A Disturbance in the Force.
The Disturbance in the Force, yeah.
So go find their episode from last night and check that out. It's lots of fun.
Thank you. I appreciate the plug, man. Thank you. I'm glad you like it too.
That's what we did.
We did out more members of Chewbacca's family too, so we got that going for us.
Yeah, that's
Hey, man, Chewbacca pulls.
But I mean, the level of genius and the things that you find in that too is like, well, why do Wookiees wear robes on Life Day? Because it saves costuming a buttload of money, not having to fully outfit like 100 Wookiees.
Yep.
Okay.
Can we real quick? Can we just talk about that scene real fast where they're going through the tunnel and he's grinding Indy up against the ceiling, and yet the hat is like barely moving.
Right.
I love that. I love it. I know it's cheesy, and I know like not a lot of people have commented on that, but it's, you know what? It's Indiana Jones. That's what you want, man. Like,
oh, the hat doesn't come off. I mean, in Last Crusade, he's riding a motorcycle with Sean Connery sitting there clutching his stuff and clutching his hat in the sidecar. No, the hat's just go. It's there.
Yeah.
Big ass hat pins, man. Just like, well.
I will say, as much as I love this whole sequence, some of this stuff is like Crystal Skull levels of ILM fakery.
What do you mean? I mean,
I'm just surprised that like with 15 years of technological advancement, they still can't really sometimes composite shots better than what Crystal Skull was able to achieve.
Well,
like that jungle chase is pretty much on par with this train top action.
Well, the question is, can they, or it's all about the dollar signs. It's like, how much more would that add to the deal?
That's true of any movie, right? You got to figure out where you're going to spend your money.
Yeah.
Did it matter enough to make it better? No, it was good enough.
Yeah. Well, and like, I've watched this a couple times. I watch it with my daughter, and in like the push cart chase or whatever the thing, the tuk-tuk chase. Later, she's like, "This is bad green screening." And I was like, I don't even know that it's bad green screening. I think it's just bad some other form of compositing. Because I don't know.
I'm just one of those people that, like, when you see a scene like that, watch a movie like this. If you're looking for the special effects and looking for the green, like you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Just watch it because it's a fun, crazy experience. Like, don't.
I don't think anyone. Okay, some people are just assholes and they do look for it, but I don't think most people look for it. I think we just know natively, like when something just hit us right. It's that uncanny valley. We can't even tell if it's wrong. We just know that it is.
Well, sometimes certain things just hit you, and it's this scene that we're about to see right now. Is my first watch, the old man Harrison voice didn't hit me. It didn't even take me out of it. I was there. I was buying it, bought it. This is where it took me out. He walks like an old man. When he's walking away with his birdwatcher friend, he walks like an old man right there. It's like,
I didn't even notice that until you mentioned it.
That was the first thing that I'm just like, oh, that is Harrison. They didn't get us to know. They're mapping it on the man himself.
That is funny that they wouldn't just get a body double.
Yeah.
You know what though? As crazy as it sounds, you would notice that. Like it's weird to say, but you would.
Now, here's the real revelation in the thing, is the scene in the underwear, which is, this dude is 77 and he is still like cut. Like,
I look like Pizza the Hut compared to this guy.
Yes.
And I'm like over 30 years younger than him.
It's like, what is, no wonder the man is still like, he is the body. They don't need no stinking body double. He was walking around on the roof of a train or what, you know?
Yeah.
It does crack me up because our father is a year younger, and I've seen him shirtless recently, and it's a very different story.
Well, now this I think this gives me. I think that's Harrison Ford. I mean, the man's not acting at this point. This is just like, this is what I would do.
Right. Again, method acting.
Yep.
Exactly.
So I think that's part of what makes this movie so damn good is that it's like, it humanizes Indiana Jones, but it also reinforces the badassery of Indiana Jones, that he's old and crotchety and beat down, and that he still goes on this crazy adventure, travels time, and wins. He's still like, that is the greatest shit ever. I mean, look at this. He's like heating up his coffee, for God's sakes, like just, spiking it up. Like,
can we also just point out that like he just went down to talk to the noisy neighbors with a baseball bat?
Yep.
Yeah.
What the hell was he gonna do with that? Really?
No fucks given. Okay.
Yep.
It's like, I'm not even putting on pants. I put on a shirt, but I'm not even putting on pants. It's just like, I got a bat, I got a Cub shirt, we're going.
God, this movie's good, man.
It really is.
This is one of those times where I went to the theater with like I tried not to have huge expectations because I didn't want to be let down. It was same thing with like Top Gun Maverick. And I came out going, oh my God, I could not have asked for anything more. It's just one of those experiences you rarely have in a movie theater.
Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, Maverick, I was expecting a lot going, because we went and saw that in 4D the first time.
Okay.
And it was
wow,
like
4D.
Oh yes, like moving seats and rumble seats and.
Oh, that we don't have that here. We had that here for a few years. We don't have it anymore. That is such a great way to watch a movie.
That was just like, it's like the only thing is there could have been more. I wish there were more, but it was like, yeah. And then you're just like looking at the levels of how dumb these people are. It's like, Syracuse, New York, the Greeks were like battling in New York. What?
Right.
Okay, I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a school teacher. This is reality. It's like, okay, there's that kid. It's like, no, you know it before it happens.
These are some of my favorite scenes in the Indiana Jones movies, though, is when Dr. Jones is giving a lecture. Yeah. He would be an amazing teacher. I would love it to have Indiana Jones teaching me history.
Well,
would you write "love you" on your eyelids and blink at him, AJ? Would you love having him as a teacher that much?
I think I might.
It's entirely possible, right there. I'm just feeling the overhead projector.
I mean, I already don't wear panties, so.
Dave, I thought the same thing. I was like, God, am I that old that I remember that thing?
Like that takes me back.
We're all
right
that
there,
old.
man.
Man.
Yeah. And then rolling the TV in on the cart. It's like,
Yep.
yes.
Well, and that's such a like that scene right there.
That was
is
a
such
high-end TV for the time period that this movie took place.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
No, I just think that scene right there was just such a. It was such a great scene setter because you're like he's talking about this ancient stuff and on the ancient projector, and all of a sudden they roll in a television and we're going to the moon. Like, I just thought that was a brilliant piece. This whole movie has so much brilliant writing all over it.
Yeah, the only thing that I really
you
wanted out of this and the bringing Indy forward in time to, you know, a more modern time is I wanted this was my headcanon before this started was I wanted him in like 1977 to just stroll by like a marquee for Star Wars.
Like the Club
Like,
Obi-Wan and Temple of Doom.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I was like, I want him. I figured to jump ahead, make it 1977, and he just looks like, you know, and says something smarmy. It's like Star Wars. That's never gonna go.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. So you'd fit perfectly on the Nerf Herder console, man. You have great ideas that should have happened.
It's the thing. I think, you know, there's some vehement views that we would disagree with and be at war because Die Hard's Christmas movie. But, you know, other than that, I get you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I mean, Die Hard is an action movie that happens at Christmas, but I mean, you know, we can debate that if you want.
Just saying, they're releasing it for the 35th anniversary, not on its release date, but at when now Christmas.
That doesn't make it a Christmas movie. As I said on that episode last year, we did this. No one is busy saying, "Oh, Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie." It's the exact same concept. It's an action movie that happens at Christmas, but no one barks about that one.
Yep.
Saying, hey, ho, 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 I have a machine gun now.
Hey.
But we're back to this. And these little smarmy government guys. And the interaction with the waiter.
Yes.
And then what's his face? Volker, what?
Voller, yeah.
Yeah, what's he calling himself now? He's calling himself something else in the future.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
He's got a Schmidt.
Yes.
Schmidt. He's got a non-Nazi name.
I wonder for was it Mads Mikkelsen? I always get Yeah, I wonder if they kind of went both directions with him where is this like what he looks like now, or did they age him up a little bit for this time period and down a little bit less for the flashback?
True.
Yeah. But see, this is just, do you know where your people are from? And then you're just like, oh, this guy, this is not a nice man. And then you find out this dude's a serviceman, and then he just continues to be all smarmy, and it's like,
it's just, this scene was brutal to me. I was like, wow, boy, they set this guy up like a dickhead.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the level of character development. You didn't have to say that. It's, here we go. Oh, look, we're looking at the bad guy now.
And yet he raised a good point there. I like how he's like, and how are you enjoying your victory? Like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's social commentary completely, totally, too. Is, I think it's very much commentary on like the 60s, 70s here when you're just how much the culture doesn't value the past, and they're not valuing what Indy's teaching them. It's like, oh, no, it's the here, now, and the new.
Yep.
Possible hot take here, but you guys mentioned earlier about how George Lucas and Steven Spielberg weren't involved in this. I think based on the quality of the movie that we got, it's not a huge leap to say that might have been a plus. Like, this movie wouldn't have come out like this if they were involved.
I don't think it's such a hot take. Like I said, earlier,
I don't see anything really missing from the Spielberg Lucas formula here that I'm like, yeah, see, I wish we had them in charge.
I think a lot of the camp is missing, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, like I said earlier, I feel like this is like The Mandalorian.
It is a more modern movie, and we might not have gotten that from them. But it's one of those things where you never ever know. Is like we're talking about, mentioned earlier, is the holiday special. Is where's the George Lucas cut? We know now from the documentary that there's not one, because he was involved for all of 12 hours.
Yeah,
but
right.
That kind of thing is, you will never know what would have happened if George and Stephen had done this. Might not have been good.
Do either of you know the background of the production on this anyway? Like, why they weren't involved?
I don't. I don't know, like, why or how much. Did George ever show up on the set or anything? Like, he's apparently like there on the Mandalorian, often enough here and there. But I don't know if either one was involved with this at all.
I'll have to go look, because oddly enough, AJ, I don't know. Dave, you don't know me very well, but I'm a huge behind the scenes guy. Like, I love watching all the documentaries and stuff like that. I have not heard that either. I'm wondering if maybe they didn't want to be a part of it. I mean, for George Lucas, I have to imagine it was kind of like how he was post prequels, where he was just so frustrated with the criticism that he was like, screw this. Why would I make another movie if I'm just going to get crapped on? And with the reception of Crystal Skull, I wonder if he had the same thing. And, with Spielberg, he may not have just wanted to do another one.
Yeah, so George Lucas got an executive producer credit, as did Steven Spielberg. But that doesn't say anything about what they were actually involved with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can get an executive producer credit for, giving out an idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's literally the corporation going like, hey, thanks for creating characters that we could write a movie for.
Yeah. I kind of like the flow of this movie too, how it goes from like real world to more fantastical to then, we get to the ending, which we will get there eventually. But that was to me, in almost any other movie, I would have hated the ending of this movie. But this one was so good, and it was handled in such a way that it was like incredible, that I didn't mind it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've gotten fantastical before. We're telling, and he mentions is like, I've seen things, as I don't believe in the supernatural, but I've seen things that, it's like him in the sequels. It's like, that's not how the Force works. It's like, I've seen it. It's true. The Jedi, all of it.
Yep.
Because yes, you open the Ark of the Covenant and there are ghosts and spirits and CG, effects everywhere. Kalima and pull his heart out, and then you get your the knight that's lived for 1,200 years or whatnot.
Yep.
So it's not that there's not precedent. There's totally precedent for these supernatural phenomena.
That's an excellent point. And I don't know why this hit me a little differently, to where like if they do this, I'm gonna be pissed. And then they did it. I was like, really? But then when it played out, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. I mean, you make a great point. I never thought about it in that context. If you line up everything that was goofy before, why this being a little extra goofy should have been a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, this is not National Treasure. This is Indiana Jones. It does
Yeah.
have that next level supernatural stuff here.
That sucked, by the way.
The killing the secretary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something
Yeah.
like, and here we go with this.
Unnecessary.
This just made that like the bad guys like more evil, I think,
Mhm.
because like we've seen them be evil in the previous movies, but this is like they're actually like just okay. Somebody's there, boom, kill him, boom, kill him, boom, kill him. You're like, what the hell? Like it really upped the stakes.
Yeah,
At least in terms of an Indiana Jones movie.
the thing in this part here is that bugged me is we didn't see enough of his trust in Shaw yet to why he immediately, he goes with this whole story about, oh, it's in a river and things, and then he takes her to it. Why did you were a little too eager to take her to the artifact?
Well, I guess it's the whole goddaughter thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but had we had the flashback yet? I've been like talking and not necessarily all the. Had we even had the flashback of her as a kid and him being there yet? So we hadn't.
no,
You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen
Yeah.
why.
I was expecting a lot more Easter eggs. I wonder if like anything in the shelves is like that.
yeah,
Oh, there's entirely possible. I'm sure there are things that people recognize. Is it's you guys aren't always on this show. What we say about this show is we just like make shit up here. And if you want actual content, you need to listen to like Rebels Revisited or go over to the Unifying Force where
right.
Catherine Cook actually knows things. We're waiting. The whole was George and Steve involved? Why were they not? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the chat that knows? Hello, MBS. It's like,
You better watch that because if we start speculating, we're gonna end up with shit like Crappy the Wookiee from our show last night.
Well, I just did a little bit of research on that stuff actually. So
On Crappy
basically
the
George
Wookiee?
Lucas had ceremonial tiles. Yes, I did. You have no idea what is out of frame below me. Okay, just gonna leave it there.
It's you. I can only
Yeah.
imagine.
there you go.
Anyway, yeah. So George
He
Lucas
had
had basically
no-
ceremonial titles. He had like no involvement whatsoever. Steven
I figured.
Spielberg apparently was pretty actively involved in the pre-production phase. Like he came up with the idea of the train sequence and things like that. So he had ideas, and he basically said he voluntarily stepped away because he wanted to basically turn it over to a new generation of filmmaker to have their take on it. And also he wanted to do this project called The Fablemans or something. It was some sort of passion project for him. So between him wanting to go do something else and not being jazzed about doing continuing Indiana Jones movies anyway, just all kind of worked out that way.
Well, that makes sense. It's like, both Spielberg and Lucas are at a point where I don't have to do a movie for money.
Yeah.
I am going to make a crap ton of money from someone else making this movie.
Exactly.
I mean, the rumor is that Spielberg wasn't really particularly jazzed about doing Crystal Skull either. George talked him into it. And George and Harrison were basically the two that were like, come on, let's do another one.
Oh, and he wasn't psyched about the idea of aliens. I mean,
Right.
the whole alien idea was, I mean, what was the
Right.
potential working title? The Saucer Men for like Indiana Jones and the Saucer Men from Mars. Like, how? See, it's like George Lucas had the same problem, and he passed it on to Filoni. Like, if you leave him alone to do it all on his own, you're going to get some real crap. But if you have somebody there to check him and be like, all right, these are the good ideas. Okay, this is kind of sucky. Then you get some phenomenal work. So Steven Spielberg saying, yeah, we're not going to call it the Saucer Men from Mars. Good for you, Steven Spielberg. Thank you very much.
Yes, is that I think is the long and the short of like a lot of the issues most people have with the sequel trilogy is if there had been some sort of oversight and not just let directors run amok.
Yeah, no, I completely. I mean,
I'm sorry, but again with the hood over his.
Oh yeah.
Is it? I swear
Yeah.
it's a cost-saving measure. They're like, we could put anybody under this thing. We do not have to have Harrison Ford stumbling around without
That
being able
might
to
be
see where he's
the
going.
because wasn't there things that they had to shoot without Harrison? Because didn't he hurt his hand um during the filming of this movie?
He
I
had
don't
some
know.
kind of injury. I
Yeah.
I thought he had hurt himself for a period of this, but because everybody's like, well, at least he hurt himself punching a Nazi.
I know he had that broken leg during like The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One thing that always strikes me as weird, anytime they do a period piece like this, there's something that, I don't know, humans just look different from different time periods, to where like you can't cast someone in the 2020s, have them play a character from the 1970s and have it be plausible that is a 1970s human being.
I don't know. Like the cop with the mustache, I think that's it's universal. That guy's
Yeah.
probably walking the streets of New York today.
Right.
You're gonna find that dude. He's there.
So I looked it up, and yeah, Harrison Ford tore something in his hand or his wrist. He was throwing a screen punch at Mads Mikkelsen, and James Mangold said he just threw the screen punch and then looked at his hand and went, and he had torn something. He said they were down for a month.
Oh. So I don't know. I don't know enough about like the history of the day. The city of that they're in threw me a little bit when I saw this in theaters the first time. It's because I'm looking and it's like, are they in New York? Are they in Chicago?
I don't think they say what major city they're in. That's a good question. I think it's intimated to be New York City.
Yeah, I think so.
I think this probably takes place during a real historical event, and he does pass the Apollo astronauts, right? So where was that ticker tape parade? But then again, they might have done that in multiple cities. I don't know.
By the way, there's no better punching sound in the history of cinema than in Indiana Jones movies, right?
Oh wait. Is it Syracuse? Oh, Manhattan. Okay.
Yeah, New York City, Broadway and Park.
Like so much about this is absolutely preposterous, but for some reason in this movie it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I was watching. If you guys haven't watched it yet, have you seen the documentary on Indiana Jones and like the life of the hero, the whole shebang?
No.
On Disney Plus. It dropped about the same time that this movie dropped on Disney Plus. There is a documentary on Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford and playing this and him talking about how everybody was freaking out about this. And he's like, I'm gonna ride the horse. I can ride the horse. I'm gonna ride the horse.
Dude, what is it with these people? Like it's like a William Shatner move where he's like, if there's a horse, I'm the one doing it.
Shatner is a legendary equestrian. That's a Shatner deal. And I mean, Harrison Ford is like cowboy adjacent. The man lives in Wyoming.
Yeah. This is so cool.
See, this is where they nailed it, is like in the action sequences. It's the tried and true formula of every Indiana Jones movie where he gets out of one bad situation into a worse one every time.
Right.
Like, hey, I dodged the train to have a faster one chase me. Like,
Hold my horse.
yeah.
And then it just stops him because there's no opening subway train doors.
Yep.
Everybody.
Subway's faster.
They're commenting here it really on, like, you know, again, actual history is the US's use of
He was actually
Nazi
going to say the
scientists,
dark
German
dimension.
scientists in the space program. What's that?
He was actually going to say the dark dimension and Dormammu.
Well, that's why, you know, this all should have come together. Him as Caecilius and then, you know, Dr. Zola, you know.
Right?
I mean, they're all here. Let's just do it.
It's all the same.
Isn't
Mix
it
it
funny? Like,
up.
I swear it's getting to be like the old studio system where they just have like a bank of actors that are just, they're Disney actors now.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
you're going to do a Marvel picture, you're going to do a Star Wars cameo. Get used to it.
Case in point.
Yep. By the way, AJ, you cut off a really good point Dave was about to make.
What's that? I don't know.
You were making a good point, and then AJ cut you off. He's rude like that. I apologize to my co-host. He's a classless animal.
I cut people off all the time, actually. Yeah.
Oh, that is all right. I would not even dream of doing a podcast with either of my brothers. So more power to you.
We're so used to it. We were raised that way, being in a large Italian family, that for us it's nothing.
I never dreamed of it either, honestly. I just have a drinking problem. And we had the discussion. Yeah. The problem was I was drinking, and then someone said we should do a podcast.
There you go.
Oh, thump.
So good. So good.
Good God, bite
it. Babies is
ever.
Still,
Yep.
he is the best ever.
Yes.
Did you guys watch Sliders? Did you watch that show?
I have not.
I need to flash back to that one, actually. I haven't seen that except in like syndication back on like the Sci-Fi Channel here and there.
Yeah. That's a good quality show. But John Rhys Davies was at ICCC in outside of Nashville last year, and it was just absolutely legendary. I was waiting in line for one of the Star Wars Rebels actors, but a perennial like backup co-host for this show, Skip, went. You know, it's late at night. Everybody's waiting over here. John Rhys Davies is by himself. There's no line. So Skip just cruises over there, and he decides, I'm going to go meet John Rhys Davies. He hears that his name is Skip, and he just goes off the rails. He's just like, Skip, I wonder if I can still skip. And the man comes out from behind the table and like goes skipping across the room, the autograph hall in the place, just because my buddy's name is Skip.
Like, that is amazing.
Legendary.
That's fantastic.
He is a gem. If you ever have a chance to go see him, see him.
I would meet him in a second.
See, I think this is a thing that where we're missing is, yeah, you're not going to get Harrison, but you don't get Harrison for Star Wars. I think you could make some cons out there. Con planners, are you listening? We know you have spies.
Yeah.
Is like get a group from Indiana Jones. I mean, I think Karen Allen does cons. If you got what is it? What's short round saying? Keyhole track?
Oh, Key Kwong or whatever. Yeah.
I cannot pronounce it, or I cannot remember enough to pronounce his name right now. But if you got those characters, and then Mickelson now, Mickelson is a Star Wars and
Yeah.
Indiana and the thing, he'd be in higher. Actually, I would need him on some Star Wars stuff. But I think that's the perfect con is like the secondary actors and stuff from Indiana Jones would clean up.
I would God. I would step over people to go to an Indiana Jones panel, like celebration or something.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God, that'd be amazing. It sucks because you can't really get Harrison Ford anymore. I mean, I think we can agree, like we've seen him in interviews and stuff lately, and it's like he's definitely slowing down.
Right.
I mean, remember AJ, we saw the opening, celebration opening panel, and we were like, ooh, he's a little worse for wear, it looks like.
Yeah.
And
which is
here's
okay.
your
I mean,
flashback
at that
you
age,
get.
it's okay.
Here's your flashback to why he trusts Helena Shaw.
Yeah.
Ki Hoi Kwan. Okay, that's what
Yes.
is it's like I did not want to do an injustice and not pronounce or say his name correctly, so I got that looked up. But get those people and out there. But you might even get lucky and get like a Kate Capshaw on a whim to do a con.
Well, if you get Kate Capshaw, you're getting Steven Spielberg. You would have to assume.
Absolutely.
I love the idea, but I'm guessing others have had this idea previous to us.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe, we got Star Wars Celebration. Maybe we're going to be like the inventors of like IndyCon.
Yeah. Make it happen. I'll go to Indianapolis for this.
That's not too far of a drive from us. I would do it too.
See? Absolutely.
That's closer than Chicago when we drove to Celebration 19.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, this we needed this scene to get why he trusts her.
Yeah. Well, but I think it's I kind of like it where it is, because I think if you right off the bat, I think you're just giving everything away. Like, I mean, right there is a great scene, but like forgetting the hat, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I think you had to put it here because I think if right away you say, "Oh, he trusts her because of this," like, I think it takes away a little bit of the,
It's entirely possible.
Again, the kind of
it's
angst,
what we were talking about earlier. Is we won't know. You
Yeah.
know, we got it here. If we got it there, would it have worked? Would it have alleviated that, but only to cause another problem? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that you don't know about her. I mean, you just don't.
Yeah.
And so I think the way they did it, I think serves that purpose. I liked it that way. Just my opinion, of course.
Oh, complete valid point. And they did a good job of revisiting, a lot of classic Indiana Jones tropes and scenes in
Yes.
this movie, but not making it overt that you're
Yep.
revisiting all of these.
It's like Maz's Castle, but done right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is you get all of that because you got the train chase that you had from Last Crusade when he was a young man, when he was River Phoenix. You've got, this is the club, but this is like a seedier.
Yes. Good word.
Than Club Obi-Wan.
And this is basically Short Round 2.0.
It is.
Yeah.
And he's, even though he's you know, what is this? It's set in 1969,
Yeah.
70, and he's still a far more modern short round.
Yes. And you know what I just noticed? I never noticed this before. He was just working on like homemade plane controls. I never
Yeah.
saw that before.
Oh
Wow,
yeah, no,
okay.
I noticed that because that that pays off with the other thing that he's about to do in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass. Okay. That's a dumbass moment for me. Well, double dumbass on me.
But yeah, you got that. But yeah, this leads to, because she has her own short round, is, are they setting up a continuation of the Indiana Jones saga with her, with this actress? And would you watch that?
Yeah. God, I don't know how I'd feel about that.
Yeah, I don't particularly know either. I mean, it's that's probably one of those things that you'd have to see, and if they did it right, maybe, as long as you don't call it Indian, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Eventually.
But
The one element about this that stuck out to me that it's not happened in any of the other movies is this whole like Indy is framed for murder.
oh yeah,
Like he's
well, I
never
mean,
been
you
an
call him a
outlaw.
grave
He's never
robber
been
when
running
he's
from the
been
law,
before.
you know?
Yeah, true. He's always been running from the bad guys.
Yeah.
And in this one, he's kind of running from both.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and if they set this up, as long as they don't, call it Helena, an Indiana Jones story,
Right.
Yeah.
maybe we'll be all
Well, they need a post-credit scene where, she says, "I'm Helena Jones."
right. God.
He buries the whip and the hat in the backyard.
Ooh. Ooh. Oh. And if you want everyone to freak out and burn torches on the Lucasfilm front lawn.
Exactly.
Oh, but he's back. She has her own like slap sound.
Yep.
Mhm.
Now this is fun. I like the play on
Go
this
back to
one.
the gun. Yep.
Uh huh. Now there's some of your camp there is,
Yes.
they're all blah, 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 instead of, wait, oh, he's down there.
Yeah. Let's just walk around the table and shoot this old man. He'll break a hip before he'll get away.
And apparently they only had one bullet in each of the guns because
Yeah.
the guns were worthless after that first shot. That's it.
They're all
One
looking at
salvo.
each
That's
other.
all you get.
They're all looking at each other going, shit, we did not think this through.
They work for a bunch of cheap ass mobsters who make them buy their own bullets. You want to shoot twice? Expense it.
Yeah. I'm going to need you to fill out a form for that.
There you go. And then here you go with the chase and the oh no.
Nice.
And how much of this is, it's just the Harrison Ford and what they do with it. This is completely and totally Han Solo.
Yes.
Like, I talk my way out of it every time. Every time. He's
Right. And the way they set the whole thing up is just like, it looks like he's like the hero. Well, not really. The cops didn't stop because you told them to stop.
yeah.
I mean, a lot of this movie kind of hinges on whether or not you like Helena as a character.
Possibly, but
Yeah.
like what we've been talking about is it goes back and forth. We have moments where we do, and then moments where we're like, no, you're betraying Indy. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's why it works. Because there's so much. I think they put enough stuff in here to take away. I mean, they do a great job with Indy being old,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they put so much stuff around it to kind of take your attention off of it for a while that I think it balances really nicely. Because I think if it was just him again, like AJ, like you said earlier, with Crystal Skull, they're trying to make another Indiana Jones movie where he just does everything. I think if they had done that, there would have been a big focus on the fact that, oh well, but this guy's like in his late 70s, for Christ's sakes. I can't
Right.
buy this. Like, but they balance it out with these little sight gags and other characters, and I
Well,
think they
and
do a
they
great job of
chose
that.
to, like this chase. This could have just been like a two-way chases. We're chasing the Dial, we're chasing the Mickelson character, but no, they introduced some of her backstory, and you're not only chasing that, but these other guys are chasing her because of her breaking off an engagement and
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah,
it's
and
like these little
there's like
side
angles and
stories, to
crisscrossing
your point.
storylines.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
And
Sorry,
yet,
JT, I didn't mean to talk completely over you.
no, that's okay. It's okay. We were basically saying the same thing. So, but yeah, I mean, you're
By the way,
exactly right.
I think you're talking. It's your turn.
Who talks first? You talk first. I started to
who has the
understand
talking
what-
stick.
AJ,
One thing they
go.
missed an opportunity for. One thing they missed an opportunity for was when they first got on the tuk-tuks and those camels were walking past. Someone should have looked at those, and Indy would have to go, no camels.
No
No
camels.
camels.
Yes.
That's good fan service.
Yeah. I just want to see someone try and recreate this and see like how long a tuk-tuk would last doing all this.
Well, I don't think they go over like 5 or 10 miles an hour anyway. So
Well, that's why it'd be awesome, because it would still burn out in like 15 seconds. It would just be great to, it's gonna be fascinating. And it would just make this scene that much cooler. And now we have a double tuk-tuk chase.
yeah,
There it is again. There it is again, Dave, the music.
Oh yeah. Is when
John Williams is just
it's when they have the
performance.
chases. This is the truck chase from Raiders. This is where my daughter's going, that's bad green screening and stuff, like when they do the close-ups in these. And I'm just like,
Right.
don't look at that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Is it bad green screening? Did they use the equivalent of the volume? I don't know how they did this.
Oh no. Are you like AJ? Like, you could tell where they use the volume. I'm like, damn it, stop looking at that.
I mean, I would say it probably was the volume.
I don't know.
I don't know if they would use that for a movie. Although
They do it for Marvel all the time.
I did not know that.
I mean, Love and Thunder and Quantumania, you can't tell.
No, again, because I don't look for those things. Now, I still haven't seen Love and Thunder. And Quantumania, I was just too busy being disappointed and also being so disappointed that I fell asleep for 40 minutes. But
Ooh. Yeah,
I love this.
Good.
That's so great.
That's gotta suck.
Oh. Yeah, Love and Thunder could have been so much more.
I just think this whole new phase of Marvel is just like not good. I've been rewatching like the Infinity Saga in timeline order, and I'm just going, it's so good, and the new stuff is just not like the multiverse. To me, it's nothing but a bunch of special effects dumps. Like, honestly, them losing Kang is probably the best thing that could have happened, because at the that post credit scene in Quantum Mania where there's like, oh, there's 1,000 Kangs. Well, then what's the point? I mean,
Right.
I'm just rehashing stuff that we said on our show, but like if somebody dies, there's no stakes to it. There's
No,
none.
not
It's
at
like, oh,
all.
he's alive. He's
You
alive in a million other realities.
well, in fairness, that's been the case in Marvel Comics for quite some time.
Yeah.
You are on vacation. It is your Hanukkah birthday. Why are you here, Jowitz?
Yeah.
Is
I love
like, go eat some cake, light some candles. No. Get out of here. Go hang with the mouse. But
Look at this guy.
yeah,
Jeez,
but I mean,
Spencer.
this is, it's the chase, but they've upped it a notch. They keep going. They have made it a far more modern-y stakes kind of car chase. We're almost like Gone in 60 Seconds, Fast and Furious.
Yes. Yep.
You have missed. Well, that's a comparison right there. Is Ishtar, but you're just trying to start stuff because I think that one of us likes Crystal Skull.
Spencer, look, I'm right and you're wrong, and we can prove it by the fact that you're at Walt Disney World, yet you're on your own network watching a program instead of hanging out with your wife on vacation.
Right.
That's a problem. Okay. So come on, man. Seriously. Go ride the Tron coaster again and tell me how awesome it was and why it should be like an hour longer than it is.
Have you ridden Tron?
I haven't even been to Disney World or Disneyland.
No.
He doesn't put his money where his mouth is.
I mean, he's there.
He's not the type of fan that Disney wants.
You got to go. You got to do it.
I will end up there at some point. I mean, my wife and I were talking about it, and then we bought a house last year, and now basically like we're penniless for the next year. We've put glass block windows in. We just had a roof put on. We had the fence in the backyard. We're having electrical work done next year.
Yeah, that will do that.
He gave me so much.
There's a reason why The Money Pit is a real movie, and
it really is. And people say, "Oh, it's the joy of homeownership." I'm like, "This is not joyful." And they're like, yeah, but you're building equity. I'm like, in what? No one's going to hand me like 50 grand because I put windows in.
No. Then you have to get that equity, you have to refinance it at a stupid, ridiculous rate.
Exactly.
You can get that money back out, but yeah.
Yeah, but Dave, despite all this, I still got crap for going to Galaxy's Edge without him. The park was open for years before I showed up because I got sick of waiting, and I was still the asshole.
You are the asshole. We do everything Star Wars together first, and you did it without me.
I was waiting, and I got sick of waiting, so too bad. And if the roles had been reversed,
AJ, let me tell you how big of an asshole that I've been in that situation. I have never gone to Disney. I have gone to Disney before and without my brother. And I've taken all of his kids.
Problem with your brother?
It's just like, no, he's unavailable or he's not. We're going. Oh, does your daughter want to go? Oh, does the other daughter want to go this time? Oh, we'll just. So, yeah, just come home and tell Daddy how cool Tron is.
They need to just.
Oh, you guys.
They should have
drive a man to drink.
They should have. They need a night on the Tron coaster where they play the movie in front of you, but you ride the coaster the whole time you're watching the movie. I would.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of one of the things about the Tron coaster is my daughter enjoyed the thing, and but she doesn't get it. My wife doesn't even understand it. She's never seen that movie. But
I'm a huge Tron honk.
I mean, scuttlebutt is they are still trying to get that third movie done.
It's in pre-production, or they're writing it, I think, is what I read.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there should be a market for it with the amount of people that are waiting in line for that coach. I mean, people will think now that it's a movie about the ride, like Pirates and anything else, but
yeah. Discuss Metal Joe. You are not wrong, my friend.
But yes, and in addition to Tron, Guardians of the Galaxy. Holy cow!
Is it amazing?
Yes. Yes.
See, now you're talking.
Absolutely.
Now you're speaking my wife's language because she I love Guardians too, but she loves Guardians.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing, and doing a Guardians overlay. I mean, the Guardians overlay on Tower of Terror in Disney DCA is good enough, but having this new standalone kind of deal at Epcot, it's like, whoo.
See, I think that's the thing for me, and we'll get back to Indiana Jones. I know we're sidetracking, but when I do it, because now I've missed a couple things, I think it's going to be one of those things like I'm just going to make sure to save enough where I can do all of it and absolutely just annihilate my bank account. Be like, I'm doing every goddamn thing there is to do. You know,
I have been 10 times and there's stuff I haven't done.
See, that's what I mean. I got to do everything.
More power to you. I mean, you're going to be there for a month.
That's not such a bad thing.
The classic map montage. Love it.
I was waiting for this.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought we would have gotten this earlier.
Yeah. So. Well, again, like we talked about, like they do such a good job of not overdoing the fan service. You know, you said that really early on, Dave. It's like there's enough of it, and there's not too much of it. You know, like.
And even the presentation of that map montage wasn't the same old where
it was almost like 3D.
You know, yeah.
Now, what do you think about Antonio Banderas here? Is it too much for a new cameo?
No, I think it's great. I mean, because here's the thing. I have no problem with this because it's like I had a problem with the sequel trilogy in Star Wars because they kept introducing new characters that didn't matter. And I was like, we don't, especially in Rise of Skywalker, which again, a movie I like, a lot of people don't. Janna, like what the hell, Zori Bliss, like what is the point of this?
Yeah,
like we don't need this crap. Like we don't need you to introduce new characters. It's the 9th movie of a 9-movie saga. Just get to the point. I don't need these people. They're going to be inconsequential. But with Indiana Jones, it's been established over and over again that he's the only character. It's not like an ensemble like it is in Star Wars, and he travels the world. So it makes sense that he would have this guy, in this country and this guy in this country. Like, so it actually is part of the story. So it didn't bother me. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those things. The what if is. I would have thought that would have been a great role for Sala. He goes to Greece. Oh, that's where Sala is. But we see what happens to this character, and then you're like, no, that's why that couldn't have been Sala. That would have been too much. That would have been like Rise of Skywalker. The Chewie's transport explodes, and our hearts just drop out of our chests.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yep.
See, and I think like I can compare it to this, like I was trying to do something musical earlier. Hopefully this one makes sense. I mean, but I think what it is with this is like I kind of compare it to the way that, you know, Dimebag Darrell described old records from like the 60s and 70s by like Black Sabbath and those heavier bands where they would double the guitars, but they wouldn't be quite 100% in tune with each other. And part of the charm of it is that those notes are battling. Like they'd hit a note, and like your ears kind of like you're tense, like get in tune, get in tune, get in tune. Whereas if it was perfectly auto-tuned, it wouldn't have that power, it wouldn't have that vibe to it. And I think with this movie, I should say, if you had all the fan service, you'd be like, okay. But if you have only a little bit of Sala and only a little bit of Marion, you're going, oh, is there more? Is there more? There's that tension. And I think because, you know, you combine that with the whole Helena thing, like, is she good? Is she bad? Like, you know, is she going to screw Indy, you know, another time? Like, I think that's why the movie works so well, because they didn't overdo it. And there is that constant tension in a couple different areas.
Yeah, and I do like with Helena's character, I like how when she does screw Indy over, it's not like because she's malicious.
Yeah.
She's just doing what she needs to do for herself in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's not like she's remorseless for having done it. They did a really good job of striking this balance.
So
you need to understand that actually there is a good person in there, but she will compromise her ideals in certain situations.
Yep.
Well, do we like her that she does that? Because is that something Indy would have done? But not.
I was
not for
just
the money,
thinking that, Dave.
Is it something Indy would do that he would compromise and have to do it? Not for the money, but would you steal that? He does all the time because that belongs in a museum.
No, he steals it. Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
Fortune and glory.
No, Dave, that is an awesome point. I was thinking the same thing. Like, you know, and like you had said earlier, you know, could Helena, you know, kind of intimated, like, could Helena continue in the role almost, you know? And I think they kind of showed those sorts of things, you know? By the way, I love the scene. I can't even talk over it. This is just, this is one of the most brilliant scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
It also came out of nowhere.
Yep.
Never expected this in an Indiana Jones movie.
Yep.
Well, but you don't expect them to reference Crystal Skull. You expect them to totally, you know, to sweep that under the rug and not mention Mutt at all, but you make not the name itself or whatever, but you make that character a pivotal part of his motivation in this.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you kill him off, so we don't have to deal with him and worry about him taking Indy's place in the next.
Damn it, Dave! Quit it! Don't shit on this great scene, man. Oh, this is so good. I mean, this is like that right there. Like, I mean, that's an Indiana Jones you've never seen.
No.
It's a Harrison Ford you rarely see. Like, you forget that Harrison Ford can actually like act his ass off when he wants to. Like, he chooses roles that are fun and they're iconic, but they don't really require much a lot of the time, you know?
So that's something you need to look at in the documentary that I was talking about earlier. It talks about some of the do this for the art and do this for the paycheck. And this is, you know, and where he was for that point, because I mean, he's Indiana Jones, he's Han Solo, he's the president of the freaking United States. You know, he's what's the name of the doctor?
Oh, and Fugitive? Yeah.
Yeah. Harry something Kimball.
Yeah. Again, I just this movie to me is like Rogue One for me. Every time I watch it, I see something a little bit extra, and I love it a little bit more.
So I'm glad you brought that up. That is
see that,
something that I
actually.
was going to want to talk about. Is one of the greatest things I think about that makes Raiders great, that makes Temple of Doom great, that makes Last Crusade great, is the rewatchability. Is
Yes.
this movie going to have that? I mean, so far I've only watched this. This is like maybe 4, but it looks like it's getting there.
Yes. For me, it definitely does. And I have a problem, Dave, like, and AJ, can definitely attest to this.
Yeah,
When I
JC has a lot of problems.
Damn it, where's my dump button for AJ? Like when I go see a movie in the theater, like when we go see a new Star Wars movie, when they're putting that stuff out in theaters, and it happened with this one, I have such a hard time paying attention to the story because the little kid in me is going, "Oh my god, it's new Star Wars! Oh my god, it's new Star Wars!" And that same thing with this movie, I was doing that, but I knew I loved it.
Yeah.
And the ending kind of got me. I was like, "Ooh, now I'm paying attention. Please don't, screw this up." But, I don't focus very well because I'm so excited to just be in that environment. And this movie, you talk about rewatchability, like it made me feel that way in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal Skull kind of did. I loved it, but even like, again, I understand why people don't like that one because I
don't
can
think
see it. Like
saw that one in the theaters. I was just like,
I was there midnight movie opening, you name it. I was like, holy shit, Indiana Jones, let's go.
Well, now see
And
that to me, the experience and how you saw it and experienced it the first time may be why you feel about it the way you feel about it. Because I have a lot stronger feelings about like the Kenobi show that I like it where a lot of people see a lot of things that I don't. But I experienced those first 2 episodes at Star Wars Celebration, and I'm like, could this do it? Could it be wrong? No.
no, I mean, where do you live? I'm sorry, what city do you live in?
I'm in Hillsboro, North Carolina, which is a little bitty town in the middle of the state.
Okay,
It's near
well,
Durham, Raleigh,
I'm gonna
Chapel Hill.
drive there. I'm
Yeah.
gonna jump off right now. I'm gonna drive there and I'm gonna hug you and drive back and keep watching the movie because you said you like Kenobi. Because I have battled so many people on that damn show, and I
Yes.
watched it on Disney Plus. We actually did not. We got the wristbands to go to the opening night thing, and
Yeah.
we did not because
Oh,
AJ and I kind of get like animalistic at Celebration. But I think that is one of the best pieces of Star Wars. It since they've come back, and obviously,
well, I mean,
but
I acknowledge the problems with it. There are issues. I mean, yes, for whatever reason, the budget was Ewan McGregor, so we have a $4 fluorescent light over the table, and that bothers me. But you know, but
well,
it's Ewan freaking McGregor.
the thing to me, Dave, like, and this is the thing. I don't know if you ever watched it this way, but AJ and I did an episode about Kenobi a couple months ago, and to get ready for it, I rewatched the show, but I binged it,
Ooh.
and I watched it all. And I'm telling you, it is a completely different experience. I wouldn't say completely, but if you binge it and make it like a 5-hour movie, it hits so much differently because everything blends together better than it did when you're waiting a week to see the next part. Stop rolling your eyes, you dick. Stop it.
Yeah.
You know what? What do you know about anything? Just shut up, AJ.
I mean,
Take him off. New
Respectfully
background.
quiet.
Everything. You just shut up, man.
You make a point. You make a point, and I think it would be interesting to see it that way. I haven't, but we were making the points that we loved Ahsoka or a lot of things about Ahsoka so much because they made it appointment television. They don't drop it all at once, so everybody just waits and they sit and they binge the whole deal. It's like no, it's at a time where the East Coasters, the West Coasters, you can all sit there together and do what we're doing here live at the new time. It was like watching Star Wars Rebels when it came out on TV, or watching every episode of Friends or whatever that you always did.
All right. you redeemed yourself because you named 2 shows that I really don't like, and then you named one I really love. So there we go. I was like, oh no, how many in a row is Dave gonna go?
Okay. Did anyone else pick up on? Sorry to talk about the movie again, but
I was waiting.
Did anyone pick up on the fact that was basically like the snake pit from Raiders of the Lost Ark, just underwater?
Yeah. Completely, because when he goes in, the kid goes, "Oh, they look like snakes," and he's just like, "No, they don't."
Yeah.
Like, no, it's gotta have it up here.
Yeah, I was like, is that gonna be the creepy crawly scene? And
no, they get better.
Yeah, for me, it does not get better. It gets,
very much worse.
Yeah, very much worse. But all right, so back to the original point. Yeah, like seeing it, like, I mean, you were talking about like the experience of like seeing it in a theater might be why I liked Crystal Skull more and stuff. I mean, it could be, but I don't know. And where I was going with that point was that I would start to, and we got sidetracked again. So this is hard to like keep track. I'm trying to watch this movie. Like, I love it so much. I'm like, where the hell was I?
Right.
Screw it. I don't remember. If I remember later, I'll bring it back.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fuck it. We're doing it live.
But yeah, okay. Here's the bad guys, and they're back.
This is again one of those things where, in previous movies, based on preconceptions of previous movies, you wouldn't expect any important character to actually like die here.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just about to say when this comes up, AJ, like, I never thought that Antonio Banderas would just like, all right, see ya. Like, what?
Right.
He's waiting for him to come back. Like, oh, he faked it or something.
Yeah. Is this a higher body count than other indie movies? I mean, we know people die in other indie movies, but are they? Yeah. I mean, Indy kills people in other movies.
I think it's a higher body count of people you actually know on the screen. I think before it's all background, like, hey, we just wiped out like a crap load of Nazis. You know, we wiped out a bunch of the Ruskies and stuff like that. Like, whatever. Like, but this is like people that are on screen. You start to get to know, and you're like, what the hell? Like, I never thought that Antonio Banderas' character was gone. Like, but again, it adds to that tension that I keep mentioning. Like, you're like, wait a minute. They're going to wipe these people. It's kind of like the end of Rogue One, where, again, I was naive to this, but, when the characters start dying off, I was like, wait a minute, what? Like, like you're actually killing people that you care about? Like, that doesn't happen in Star Wars.
Well, I think it's a more it's what we've been talking about that makes it a little bit more modern sensibility, is they're doing that, but plus they have to go and illustrate how bad this guy is. 30, 40 years ago, you're going to go, oh, Nazi, good enough. Oh, he's a bad guy. Now, it's, those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it, is the modern movie-going audience has to be really illustrated. The Nazis are bad guys.
Yeah.
Really bad guys.
Yeah, I forgot how like nonchalant they were about that too. Like, not only did they kill him, but they don't dwell on it. There's no like reaction shot from anybody. It's just like, no, that's the beginning of the action, and we're gonna continue the scene.
Yeah, you do get, after they're out of it, this is a credit to Indiana Jones, is once they're out of it and they're done with it, then he gets pissed off, and then he's upset of her reaction or non-reaction. But
yeah, traditionally, like when it happens, there's like a pause so everyone can take it in.
Yeah.
Again, and AJ, you and I talked about this when we did our review, and we've talked about it, off air. And I don't know where you stand, Dave. I think the writing in this movie is brilliant for that reason. There's so many reasons why this movie could have been poor. And it's not. It just isn't. Like, they really did a great job of, stuff like we just said, like, you know, you don't know where it's going at different points. And, like right now it looks, I mean, even just this scene right here, you're like, oh, she got diamonds. She's selling them out again.
Yeah.
You just never know where it's going. And it's intelligently written. It's faithful to the source material. It's just,
Well, that's what I was about to talk about, is whether or not the people who wrote this, directed this, whatever, whether they're Indiana Jones fans or not, they've done their homework. Okay.
Yes.
They've gone in and they know that you got to have a part to an Indiana Jones movie where it's the actual intellect of figuring out the clues to get you there.
Yeah.
You need that which they've totally copied, and they do really well, I think, in National Treasure. Where they did really well. This is one of my favorite parts of like the MacGyver series is it's like you've got to be smart and figure this out based on the historical and clues. Because I think there was actually an episode of MacGyver where he goes after the Holy Grail.
Well, and my favorite novel of all time is Dan Brown's Angels and Demons. So you got Robert Langdon, and he's like, to me, has always been, what if Indiana Jones was like no action, strictly logic?
Yeah.
And it's, so there's another kind of, Indiana Jones-esque character. And
yeah, I mean, this archetype is just so popular. I was about to make the point that Indiana Jones is basically Batman as an everyman. Like, people forget that Batman is like this world-class detective.
Yes.
So it's not just he can beat up the bad guys, but he solves crimes.
That's a damn good way to put it.
Like, these are archaeological puzzles, where he's using his intellect to solve these centuries-old riddles and whatnot. And he only like gets into a fight when he has to, and usually lucks out. Like, he doesn't win fights usually.
Okay, I think you've hit on one of the things that may even make like a good Batman movie a good Batman movie. Is the good ones are the ones where they put him in as the detective and they have the things where he figures it out. And the bad ones are like where George Clooney just shows up and it's pretty.
Right. Dude, even the newest one with Robert Pattinson, like, he's very much more about solving the crime than he is about beating up the bad guys and just punching the crap out of everything.
Okay, you're going to lose me on that one because I cannot make it through that movie. I've tried 10 times and I cannot make it through.
It's hard, but you notice how it's much more focused on crime solving than, punching waves of bad guys.
Right.
I don't know anything of that.
89 Batman, as he figures out the complex, how the Joker is doing the thing, is creating the effects. Is even in the Batman. Have you guys seen Flash?
AJ has.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So same thing. Keaton's explanation of time travel,
spaghetti.
It's giving you the intellect of Batman. But here we are. Here is like they're getting away. This part I don't overly buy. Is they're just like, oh, they're going the wrong way. Oh, we're gonna follow them. It's like you just and they're by the time they get around to it, and they haven't even changed the direction yet because they don't know. They're 10 miles away. You're not gonna say, oh, they're going west. There are some parts of this that are just like a little. It's plot armor.
Again, I just always suspend disbelief because it's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, see, I love this because this reminds me of the rubbing on the shield in Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll buy you that it's a detective story, and I get it, but like emo Batman bothers me.
Well, I haven't watched a Batman movie past what was the Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, the only one of that trilogy I liked was The Dark Knight. So I'm out of that conversation. I boycotted DC as soon as they were like, yeah, Superman Returns doesn't count. F all that. I'm like, all right, you know, that was a brilliant Superman movie. And if you're just gonna piss on that and do this like start over thing like 2 years later, I'm not down. And I haven't
Oh,
watched anything
yeah.
since.
Yeah, I'll go right along with that. My Brandon Routh autograph's like sitting right there.
Thank you. AJ and I are going to do an episode like we do episodes called In Defense of. And it's like movies that people generally, and that's one. Thankfully, AJ's on the. He actually suggested it because I mean I didn't know he liked it as much as I do. We're going to do an In Defense of Superman Returns. That movie is so criminally underrated. It's not even funny. I'm like,
I mean, I enjoy Routh's portrayal, and I really enjoy even further Routh's portrayal, multiverse portrayal of Superman in the Arrowverse.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with
JP, that was the thing. They did a whole multiverse thing on the Arrow shows on the CW verse, and he came back as Superman.
As well,
funny
he
because
should.
he was already playing another character in the TV show.
Yeah, he came back as essentially Kingdom Come Superman.
What?
Yeah, one of the spin-off shows of the Arrowverse was Legends of Tomorrow, and he plays an entirely different character. But they did this multiverse crossover, and they still let him play Superman.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. Yeah, and so we talked about this movie. Just the interconnected. You give the kid his little bit of story part right here. You know, is he's just sitting there in the straw hat and the Miami Dolphins jersey, which is probably secondhand throwback in Greece or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, you cheer for the Dolphins? What? I don't know. But to give the kid his piece of the movie.
Well, like like we talked about earlier, taking focus off of Indy to, you know,
yeah, you know,
it's Jaws. Use the shark sparingly. That's a Spielberg technique. It's like the shark don't work. Do something else. Show something else.
Right. That is an excellent point, Dave. That is an excellent point. That's very much what this is like in certain spots. We're in Sicily now, right?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
To the Taria, yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of like what good editing and good storytelling is where like there's nothing is wasted. Like if something shows up on the screen, you know, the old Chekhov's gun thing. If something is on screen, it has to be there for a reason. It has to support the plot or set something up for the future or call back to something else. And this movie does such a great job of that, where like everything that shows up on screen, there's a reason that they chose to put that on screen. Down to like they're getting some character development going here for characters we shouldn't otherwise care about, but we do because they take the time to give us a reason.
Well, and you were just asking about where is this? Are they in Sicily? So I'm looking up, you know, where they're about to go, which is where is the ear of Dionysius, whatever. It's in the city of Syracuse on the island of Sicily, which brings back that whole deal in what he was teaching about.
Yep.
You know, like an hour and a half ago. It also lends credence to the deal of what's about to happen, which is back and forth in time, but not time and space in some other random places. It kind of narrows the physics of it and makes it slightly less crazy train.
See, like I was saying earlier, brilliant writing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how people come up with that sort of thing. They like keep it in that narrow window, and you just put it all together, explained it, but it's like you don't think about that when you're watching the movie. You're just like, oh, they're all over hell and gone. Like, no, it's really kind of centered around that one little area when you really get down to it.
There you go. Oh, so apparently this evening
we had the tuck case earlier. This builds on that.
Yeah.
Is Spencer and the gang were at Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar, which is essentially like the Indiana Jones's bar at Disney Springs.
Yeah, did he go?
What?
Is that still open? Is Jock
Yeah,
still open? Okay.
Jocks is still there. That is a place where I found it wasn't exactly the one that I wanted, like the nice fitted whatever. But there's a chapeauery, haberdashery, whatever you call it. There's a
Haberdashery,
hat store across from Jack Lindsay's that does have Indiana Jones hats, but it's not the same experience buying a one size Indiana Jones hat next to pink Swarovski crystal cowboy hats. Not the same.
Yeah, a little different.
A little different.
Another thing I want to say about this movie, by the way, because we got less than an hour left, which means we're about an hour and 42 minutes into it. A lot of movies by now would be over. We still have basically, credits granted would be like 5-6 minutes. So let's say like a little less than 50 minutes left. This movie, to me, doesn't feel long, and yet it is pretty long.
Mm-hmm.
On my music podcast, we talk about songs that are pretty well off in length, like 12, 13 minutes, 14 minutes, whatever. But you only feel like it's been like 5 or 6 minutes. Like it moves and gets to places in such a way that you don't realize you're sitting there that long. And I think this movie is like that. And I think it does a kick-ass job of moving the story along. There's enough interesting things going. And yet the main story thread is always present. And you just don't realize that you've been in the theater for almost 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think it's brilliant in that respect.
What songs are 12
by far the longest
minutes other than Alice's Restaurant?
What songs? What?
What songs are 12 or 14 minutes other than Alice's Restaurant?
Well, I do a music podcast about the band Dream Theater, so there you go. So okay. There are several.
But yeah, prior to this one, Last Crusade at 2 hours and 7 minutes was the longest one.
So this is literally a half hour longer.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another one where you totally don't feel that it's that long.
Yeah,
totally agree. I will sit down and watch that movie at the drop of a hat. I'll just be thumbing through and go, "Oh, what are we watching? Oh, that's on there."
I have not sat down and watched Temple of Doom and Last Crusade in a long time, because I've watched Crystal Skull almost like as a middle finger to people so many times in the last several years. Like that, if I sit down and I'm like, I want to watch Indiana Jones, like, oh man, I always watch Raiders. I should watch Temple of Doom or Crusade, and then my brain goes, yeah, but it's Raiders. I'm gonna watch Raiders. Like I cannot get past Raiders. I can't.
Plus those first three, it's kind of like Star Wars, where when you're looking to watch something from the franchise, your brain instantly goes like, "Oh, well, I've seen those a ton. What else is there?"
Oh no!
Where you don't go back and rewatch them. Like I can't remember the last time I popped in Empire Strikes Back, for example.
Oh, I rewatched that a ton.
Now I will
I'm always like, I'll check out Rogue One. I'll check out Last Jedi. Like I'll do maybe a prequel, but the original trilogy is my least visited.
AJ, all right. Dave, AJ, who is this Facebook user?
Well, that's why I was sitting there. That's why I'm throwing up the banner right there. Is you got to visit StreamYard.com and go ahead and connect your Facebook account so we can see who you are. Okay?
I don't think they want us to know who they are because their comment is ridiculous. This movie was still better than Temple of Doom, so that was enough for me. Don't be shitting on Temple of Doom here, Facebook user. You connect your account.
Yeah, you shit on Crystal Skull like the rest of us.
All right, Dave, dump him. Dave, dump him. I've had it. I've had it. You know
hate
what?
having guest access, don't you, JT?
Yeah. And now you're JT.
JT just got a lot better looking, by the way.
But I have seen people there are people. There's a community of people. We've had this
Oh
discussion.
God, here it is.
Oh, their
God.
creepy crawly scene. This is your Temple of Doom scene right there. There
It's
are
worse.
people who do not like Temple of Doom. And
Oh
I mean,
God, I can't.
there are
Fuck that. Fuck
valid
those
reasons
things.
behind it. Is a lot of the though well-meaning at the time, a lot of the cultural references in Temple of Doom are somewhat dated.
Oh, God.
There's with the newest wave of Lego Indiana Jones sets, there was supposed to be a Temple of Doom set that a leaked image of a prototype got out there and they canceled it.
Yeah. Is Temple of Doom again? Think movies that were well-meaning at the time. We watched Vacation the other day, and then like how big of an asshole Chevy Chase's character is in that, with every scene with Christy Brinkley, and
Yeah.
nothing was thought of that at the time. Everybody's just like, oh, ha ha ha, boys will be. Or, no, Chevy Chase is an asshole.
Yeah. Didn't you guys make the point? You're like, dude, you've got Beverly D'Angelo sitting there, and yet you're still pining over Christy. Like, I get it. Like, okay, Christy Brinkley, a little bit hotter. What? Like, maybe. And I know we're being very misogynistic, but to the point, you're like, what the hell's wrong with you? And then even more to the point, like you said, he's an ass. Like, you're married. What the hell are you doing? Like, good
Right.
Lord. And I mean, everyone glossed over it, but it
Christmas
was the
Vacation.
80s. Oh, I always forget Christmas Vacation.
He's busy having that basically wet dream about the sales clerk, the brunette sales clerk that he was gawking at the beginning of the movie, dreaming about her being in the pool that hasn't shown up yet.
What is it? Oh, but the other one, when it's Christmas Vacation, where it's the Mary character. Oh, 'tis the season to be merry. Oh, that's my name. And then he's sitting there. It's like, oh, look, Ross, you can't see the line. And his kid comes up and he catches him doing this. Like, that Clark W. Griswold is an asshole.
That's just more proof why that movie is overrated and not good. I really want to do an episode on that movie. Like, I will finally finish it in one sitting and just talk about, like, dude, I get crapped on constantly for saying that movie is just not nearly as funny or good as people think. And sorry. By the way, okay, back to this one.
You made it through the holiday special. You can get through anything.
Yes. I love how they kill off the giant dude in this.
Oh yeah.
It's like, because it uses Teddy's intellect, man. Like, and it's such a simple way to do it too. Like, the guy can beat up anybody, lift cars, like do anything he wants. He's like the most giant, powerful dude ever. But a little kid being smart is his kryptonite. I love that.
I do love how all throughout the movie, have you noticed, like, he's cartoonishly huge to where usually his head is cut off in the shot?
Yeah. And by the way, another, like, we were talking about, like, killing people on screen. Like, what's the body count? They just drowned a guy.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't even like, okay, he might have a chance to get out. It might be like Klaus at the end of Die Hard, like, oh God, he shows up again. No, it's like, no, that guy's screwed. He's drowning.
Yeah.
He's
I mean, it could have. There have been worse where they show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
There have been ones.
But again, because it's Indiana Jones and that usually doesn't happen, I was half expecting him to pop up later and have, like, the grate just, like, dangling off the
that would have been fun.
Yeah.
Walking around dragging the thing. But yeah, this is some of the really interesting stuff, is when they're looking at the tomb, you still go, you have to suspend the disbelief that, oh, he's an archaeologist, and immediately, instead of taking 3 weeks and documenting and taking pictures and everything else, let's just open the sucker.
Yeah.
Right. But see, this is where like sorry, JT, here comes more Crystal Skull criticism. When they were going after, was it Machu Picchu they were at?
I don't know where they were at.
Wherever they were at, basically like grave
Yeah.
robbing.
Yeah.
Something in like the cinematography of it. Akatori, that's right. The cinematography of how that was shot compared to this just looks better. I don't know why, but I don't know. Do you feel that?
Well, I do. I think a lot of that movie, like they were still at they were at the end of the digital thing where they were filming everything on digital. They started to use more of the like actual film. And I may be wrong in this, but I think they actually used like all regular film. But yeah, it definitely doesn't feel that way. AJ, like, and I mean, to the point where I thought it was filmed digitally. So
yeah, I think,
yeah,
I was wondering. Now I want to look that up because yeah, you're right. That whole movie has a prequel kind of look to it. You know,
it does.
it looks like a
Yeah.
Star Wars
It
prequel.
is, but it was too perfect and too crisp that they were
Yes.
showing what the computer could do instead of lighting it well. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And even parts of Crystal Skull, the parts where they're in the graveyard and stuff, like I said, I don't think I saw that in theaters, but the first time, wherever I was watching it, you couldn't see half of what was going on in the dark with the little like random guys coming out of the walls and things. I couldn't tell what was going on.
Well, and to your point, Dave, like another thing that I noticed about that scene was that unfortunately you could tell it was on a small set on like a, and the same thing with like the jungle scenes, like
I
they
was gonna
did,
say, yeah,
they were
it's a
I think
small set and
yeah,
the set extension.
I think they were so set on we're going away from the digital. We want to do this on regular film that they forgot to use the digital to make it look like it's one giant thing. Like we're out in the middle of a giant jungle. No, it looked like, you know, you bought a bunch of plastic trees at Michael's and
Yeah.
off you go. Like it didn't have that scope. And the, you know, the, you know, that before they go down in the tomb with like the dudes running through the walls and stuff, like you said, like that looks like you can tell it's on a small set, you know, with an extension. AJ has used phrased it. And I just think they were so intent on getting away from the digital thing that they didn't realize that it could be used as a tool with, you know, actual film, which is, you know, what later they learned, obviously, but you know, it was kind of a knee-jerk reaction to, you know, to the Star Wars prequels and stuff where people like everything's too digital. All right, we're going back to regular film. All right, well, to make this goddamn sets look better, it looks tiny. Like,
yeah,
this is one of the biggest like scenes
is
of
funny
like
because
gunplay, I think, in an Indiana Jones movie. It's back
yes,
and forth.
completely agree.
it's weird to me. It still looks weird to see Indiana Jones using a gun, though.
Yeah.
I know he does, but it's clearly not his like primary weapon. You know.
And seeing him
Yeah.
shot, like I was like, wait a minute. I was afraid they're going to kill him off.
I mean,
Yeah, I was afraid they were actually
is-
going to leave him in the past.
I was thinking the same thing. And when we get there, like we'll talk more about it. When they were doing that, Dave, I was like, if they do this, I'm going to hate it. I just thought that would have been like the worst ending.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really had no idea how the ending was going to play out until I saw it. Like I could not guess it.
Yeah,
Well,
because if they had done, we'll talk more on that, but like if they'd done that, you end up like stupid things like he's his own grandpa or something like that.
Right. Don't you wish? I do wish that like when he got shot though, it was like more in the shoulder because that is way too close.
That was
the heart.
Yeah, that was like you're dead.
And there's a lot of stuff like coming up where it's like he wasn't even shot. Like that's a damn near mortal wound, if not actually a mortal wound in real life. And he's just like whipping around like nothing.
Yeah, well, he goes. There's a lot of film left. It's not like these events happen in minutes. He's running around with that thing for hours, days.
What they don't show is that he's been carrying around a vial of the water from the Holy Grail, and he just kind of
That's
dumped it
what's
on
in the
himself off
flask.
camera.
That's what's in the flask.
Now, this is how okay. You take away my fan cred. Didn't he drink some of the water from the Holy Grail in Last Crusade?
Yes, but it only works within the seal.
All right. Well, now I'm
that
really
was the
gonna
curse. Was like you want to live forever, then you got to stay here.
Yeah.
Well, oh, never mind. All right, because I was just about to say, well, then why didn't his dad live forever? Because he drank the water. I'm like, okay, there you go.
Right. His dad didn't live forever. It healed him because he was inside of the seal at the time. But once he left, we presume. Does it ever say how he died? We presume old age. It just said it's
Yeah.
been a
Probably
rough
just a
year. We
cautionary
lost
tale about
Jack,
the
we
dangers of
lost
dehydration.
Marcus.
Right. Yeah, I don't think they ever really actually say it, Dave.
Yeah.
See, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to totally steer off of Indiana Jones for a second, but that whole little monologue right there about like where Hitler went wrong and all that kind of stuff. To me, they could have taken that template and applied it for Star Wars sequels instead of, well, Palpatine's back. No, I very much would buy into the whole thing of maybe someone from the Empire decided they could resurrect it and do it right.
And wouldn't that have been a way to bring Thrawn back in?
Maybe that is how they're bringing Thrawn back in. The problem is we already have 7, 8, and 9 to tell us that that's not the biggest threat that's going to face the galaxy.
Oh, we've got the World Between Worlds. If they do that with the World Between Worlds, I'm out. I'm gonna have my tattoos removed. It's gonna be like a Hell's Angels thing. You don't deserve to be a Hell's Angels anymore. And they carve the tattoo off of you, literally carve your flesh.
Yeah.
I'll do that to myself.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were worried about in the Ahsoka series, is it's the World Between Worlds. We can now have a Star Wars multiverse, and it gets crazy. But like them or don't like them, I am not in favor of retconning the entire sequel trilogy. I think more they are giving us more backstory to the sequel trilogy with the Grogu thing, and they're trying, and their emphasis on cloning is they're trying to make somehow Palpatine returned more plausible.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, they're Clone Warsing it.
Yes. I cannot agree with you more. AJ and I talked about this before we were on the network. I said that exact thing. I think that The Mandalorian and the shows that they have done have been so successful, especially The Mandalorian, that I think what Filoni and Favreau are doing they are trying to write stories that lead into the sequel trilogy to where people that don't like the sequel trilogy go, oh, now I like these because they make sense. I agree with you. Not even 100%, not even 1,000, like 1,000,000%. I think they are trying to make the sequel trilogy make sense. I completely agree with you.
It is not that far fetched, because there was the hate for the prequel trilogy for so long, and now it is beloved. They're like, oh, look at the shit that we can make. Oh, wasn't that so good?
Yep.
It'll come around. That's how it always goes. I mean, the prequels were hated until they weren't, because the kids that grew up with those movies got to be adults. So the narrative changes.
So here's the reason why the kid was playing with airplanes. There's your foreshadowing.
Yep. I never noticed it till tonight. Hey, Dave, remember that pee break thing I asked you about earlier?
Oh yes.
Guess what?
Later. We'll see you back in a minute. See,
Even this,
it works better when you do that if you have like an iris on your camera, because then you can just turn it off and it doesn't move everybody else. But when you turn your camera completely off, it gets crazy. It's a little technical tip.
it's fine. It's fine. We'll work with
You
it
can
anyway.
get
People can
JT
think I'm JT. He'll get more, I don't know, likes on Tinder or something.
But yeah,
But even this little rain is like just a dramatic thing, but it's
uh-huh.
a callback to the chase on the train in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
visually, it ties it together.
well, yeah. I mean, that would not have been as dramatic if it wasn't raining. It would have been, oh, what the chase where they do this is what, Passenger 57, something like that.
Mhm. Plus, I mean, what is an Indiana Jones movie without some awesome vehicle chases? So I love that, like, even though we're 5 movies in now, they're still finding new combinations of stunts to do. And
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever chased down a plane as it was taxiing off. The only planes things that I remember is the fight in front of the props in Raiders of the Lost Ark, right?
So we've got some other plane sequences. There's when they drop off of the blimp in Last Crusade, and
Oh yeah, there's the dog.
Sean Connery is like, "I didn't know you could fly a plane. Fly, yes. Land, no." And Sean Connery like
Right.
shoots the tail off, and um,
Are we
there's
good?
the
I'm
I
sorry,
hate
son.
snakes.
Got us.
There's the I hate snakes where he's in the plane with his pilot Jock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right at the start of Raiders. That's right.
So I mean, there's precedent. There's the thing there.
But yeah,
There's a lot of blood coming through that shirt. Not as much blood as there should be coming through that shirt, because it should be just spurting out and he's dying. But
yeah, he's not
okay,
he's not
now
acting like he's, about to die from blood loss or anything.
no. Okay, and this, I thought this was an amazing thought, and it went nowhere because it didn't affect anything. He's bringing up continental drift. That's like that should have been a real thing. Nothing happened. They were in Sicily. Were they not still in Sicily? They were still in Syracuse, and they show up over the Battle of Syracuse.
Well,
Unless
no,
they,
that's what he's saying is that the continental drift caused not a drift like in geography, but a drift in time.
but I mean that's
They were
not.
expecting to go back to like the
But they
30s. They weren't
said
going
that's
to
not why. That's
2.
not why they didn't go back to the 30s to still Hitler. That's why they went back to the time of Archimedes, because it wasn't continental drift. It's because Archimedes built the thing to bring help.
Sorry, guys.
We were just talking about whether the whole argument we're having here about continental drift actually even affects the movie. It seems like something intelligent and something that, oh, that makes sense. But then it does nothing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because it was always meant to bring him back to the time of Archimedes. So
Yeah.
continental drift miscalculation even matter.
Now the question is, had they been somewhere else other than Syracuse, would it have just brought them back in time?
Yeah.
Or would it magically have sucked them across the globe to Syracuse?
See, I mean, I'll be honest, when this whole thing went down, I was like, please just come out in like good weather. Make it like when you're on an actual flight. And it's like, oh no, we just, we were in shitty weather. We went so high, we broke through the clouds. And now we're in good weather. And as it was happening, I was sitting next to my buddies and I was going, please don't. Like with the time travel thing, I was like, oh, please don't. Please don't do that. And it was
But
yeah.
I mean, they already clearly flew through some sort of gateway that's going to move them in space and or time. So, I mean, really, does it matter? It's already off the rails.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, it had gone so well to this point, and I'm like, oh God, this would actually ruin the whole damn thing for me. Like, you can't end it on this like fart in church of time travel. And when it happened, I was like, what the?
And this is the thing, when it gets bonkers right here, that's when I'm like, I can tell I'm watching an amazing movie because I should have been just
yeah.
throwing shit at the screen, and instead I'm like, that's amazing.
And I wasn't. I was like, they got to fix this.
Well, some of the things that bothered me was how effective the Roman weapons were against the World War II era, airplanes. And I'm like,
Right.
I question that. But
You have
that
to-
was
you have to-
on a second or third watching. First watch in the theaters, nope, didn't even enter my brain. I was like buying it. Oh, that's ooh.
But not to be offensive. By the way, the views of the Nerf Herder Council don't necessarily reflect those of the Virtual Cantina Network. Every time I watch
Oh boy, here we
even
go.
the very first time, even the very first time that scene a second ago, I was like, that just looks like a giant puckered asshole in the sky.
It is.
That's just a brown eye.
Flew into a butthole.
It's a butthole, but just in different hues. All right, there we go.
There you go.
But anyway,
Yeah.
back to our regularly
my
scheduled
question is,
program.
I don't know about his legal accuracy of everything being on
if you're
fire or
going in a
exploding.
portal, where they're going, give somebody something familiar.
Right. No one's gonna buy this. What do we do? What if they come out of an ass? I like where your thinking's at. Okay.
See, that was a story meeting somewhere. Someone said that.
Right. Yeah. Now it's funny to me, Dave. I was gonna say, like, you were like, you had a hard time, like, oh, the Roman weapons, like, going through like these World War II vehicles. I'm like, so of all the things that have happened, them, I mean, first of all, they travel back in time in a World War II plane.
Well, right.
You're concerned about the fact that the weaponry of the ancient Romans go like that just proves that we're like Indiana Jones rules.
Yeah, that's what took me out of it. Okay, yeah. Is time travel? Okay, yeah, that happens.
Time travel, I'm good with, but there is no way a giant Roman spear would go through a B-24. That's just not happening, man.
Yeah. Now, see, they're trying to be period accurate there. The Greeks are not using stirrups. Saying it's the little things.
That was awesome.
And here's where I wonder about like everything that the boats are firing at each other and at the land and everything. It's all on fire. Like,
yeah.
Did they have gunpowder back then?
No. They're
these
about
like
to.
durable
When
World War
they
II
go through
planes
the wreckage of this airplane that stays there in ancient Syracuse and somehow has never, ever been unearthed.
Hello, my friends. Guten Tag, mein Freund. Gotta roll your R's, Helena. Come on.
Well, JT, you're speaking Hochdeutsch.
Proper Deutsch.
You got to account for dialects.
Look, man.
This is
I was first place in the state in 8th grade, AJ. I know my German.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're speaking textbook perfect German. We don't even speak textbook perfect English.
Touche.
Yeah,
Touche.
I'm going to assume that all this stuff is like on fire. Is like, didn't the Mythbusters like try and bust the thing about the giant mirrors and focusing the sun to set the Roman warships on fire? So they got like tar and pitch and flammable stuff, yes, but not like explosive gunpowder.
No.
But again,
Yeah.
If Archimedes gets, a hold of one of these like 9mm Lugers with a loaded magazine, he's about to learn how to make gunpowder.
Yeah.
That's some Star Trek 4 like time travel logic for you right there. It's like, how do we know he didn't invent the damn thing?
Exactly. How do we know he didn't invent the thing? Yep. Excellent reference.
Yes, we watched that not too long ago. That's one of the movies we're thankful for. The Voyage
That
Home.
is them Schweinhunde. Arschlöcher.
I do appreciate how, some of these gunshot wounds, they at least like take time.
Yeah. It's not instantaneous. I don't overly get why they had to give the kid an actual pilot, the guy asleep in the thing. It's like, oh, come on. You could have just let him be the pilot and fly the.
Yeah.
I mean, we time traveled back into ancient Greece and we can't believe that the kid can fly and land the plane on his own without the adult. Yeah, it'd be fine.
Just have him do a Terminator. Get out. And the guy just jumps out. I was like, this whole scene, I was like, are we really doing this?
Mm.
And I like, again, tension, but this one was personal tension for me. I'm like, please don't end the entire Indiana Jones saga like this. Please. By the way, I love the gore here. I'm always a big fan of gore. But now here you explain this. Here explain the watch.
With there's precedent when the dude's face melts off when he opens the ark.
Yep, which is great.
Yep.
They stole my shit.
Yeah, this is a cause and effect loop, right? Like the ending causes the beginning.
Yeah. I've been rewatches again. I've pictured him going, they stole my shit.
It was like, it works. This is like I just picture him as Doc Brown when the time machine.
The butthole.
He's like, it worked. I have an invention that works.
Right. And now I'm picturing him being in the scene like, it works.
Exactly. You
just holding
Archimedes as played by Christopher Lloyd. Go.
Holding the Antikythera. It works. Well, how the hell are we going to get back to our time? 1.21. Okay, stop. We're not. No.
Yeah.
One is enough.
See, hey, here's how I would make a movie. If you put that in and just had him say it in Greek with no subtitles and move on about your life.
Dave, you are a goddamn genius. All right. So we have to talk about this.
Gunshot wound for a second.
No, let's just. This is.
She says, I know this hurts. Wouldn't that be the actor's cue or the writer's cue to write into the script that Indiana Jones acts like it hurts?
Stop.
Yeah, because he really doesn't.
AJ, stop. This is amazing because this is where, like, you're like, holy shit, is he actually going to be a part of history?
Right.
Is this going to happen? And I love how they handled this because I was like, please don't end like this. Oh, well, Indy died in history. I would have hated it.
Yeah.
But it was still kind of intimate and beautiful how he's like, no, let me,
well,
let me do it.
It's got to be emotional. He calls her Wombat. He uses her nickname.
Right? Mm-hmm. This is just, oh my God, this movie gets better and better every time I watch it.
I'm like, oh.
It's just. The fuck you doing on my beach? Sorry.
He's Greek. He's not Italian. He's not New York Italian.
Look, the butthole. The butthole is.
It's closing. Limited time.
Indiana Jones and the asshole in the clouds. Sorry, I keep.
Oh, come on, that's Star Trek 5. What would God want with a starship?
Thank you. I'm like, everybody shut up. We got to watch this awesome scene. And I keep talking over it. That's so cool.
That's hilarious.
He can't keep that, by the way. He needs to build his own. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is so good.
Well, here's the thing. This is how much Indiana they got you. This is their, blowing up the shark moment. Is we give the entire culminating speech in another language and expect you to read the subtitles.
But that's why this movie is good, because it's
Yeah,
still
it's
amazing.
like that's why you question even that it's not a Spielberg movie or they're taking an error. It's like,
Yep.
I've had them in their seats for an hour and a half. I can do whatever the hell I want right now.
All right, let's
Indiana
talk about this.
Doesn't go down in one punch, though.
It doesn't
Movie's
matter.
ruined.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I thought that was brilliant, because you're like, well, how the hell are they going to get back in that? It doesn't matter. In Indiana Jones world, he just is back. I can't tell you how much I love that.
I think it would have been less if you'd seen it.
Exactly, 100%, 100%. You just
I like the fact that they ended the thing's just sitting there right next to his bed.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to call a 2.5 hour movie tight, but that is definitely one of those things where, like you said, like if they had that scene in there, it would have felt bloated. Like it wasn't necessary.
Yep. And it wouldn't be Indiana Jones. Like, you don't explain anything else.
Mm-hmm.
How he survives all these death-defying things. Like, it is. Why? Because it's Indy. And why did he get back from time? Because he's Indy.
Well, and did they even go
on? Because it's Indy.
I mean, he's in his own house in his own pajamas, wrapped up, and he doesn't even remember waking up in a. Did they just show up and Salah has a roll of bandages?
He's Salah. Of course he does. Come on, Dave. That much we know. See, this
I would
is
love
like,
it if Indy here was like just a total wet brain, because like he was unconscious for so long, he just got brain damage.
And then he goes down the hall and he sees the doors and to the other apartment. It says, "Do not open, dead inside." And and then
Marion comes in. He's pouring booze in his coffee. She's like, "Hi," and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Just starts pounding He drops the coffee, just starts pounding straight from the bottle. I see. Again, I can't talk over this. When Marion walked in, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, it brought tears to my eyes. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
And there was no buildup. She just walks in,
which is brilliant. Again, this movie is so well written. Oh my god! And like right now, it's hitting me again. The ending of this movie is like whenever, like the last time you see Anakin and Obi-Wan talking, goodbye, old friend, in Revenge of the Sith. Every single time I watch it, I know that I'm only a third of the way through the movie and what's going to happen. And I'm going, oh, please don't turn. Please don't turn. This, every time I see it, it just gets me emotional.
So this reminds me of Han Solo's first meeting with Leia after so long. It's just like, hey, new jacket.
I'll be honest with you, Dave. I did not get that vibe. I thought they really shit the bed on that moment personally.
Yeah. This is way better.
I was like, Really? That's all you got? Like, hey, I'm Leia. Yeah, I'm Han. See, okay, cool. Like, what? Like, this to me was like, holy. And you bring silent, like it's like it brings
And
like
the
Raiders
kids.
in like full circle. Oh,
Okay, this might be a weird reason to say that this hits better than Crystal Skull, but I think the fact that they're all older, like they were
They weren't
still
old
close
enough,
enough.
man.
They were still close enough to the age of the original characters when we first saw them that it was like sad aging because they had
Mhm.
enough familiarity with what they used to look like that you're just like, oh, it's like you're trying to be young, but you're not. Now they're
yeah,
clearly old, and now I could just be like, oh, it's nice to see them, and nice to see that they've moved on to a new phase of their lives.
yeah.
Like we'll be in about like 5
This
years.
is this is I can't I whoever wrote this just deserves like a lifetime achievement award. Oh man.
So I know a lot of people that really disliked this callback. What do you
Fuck
think?
them.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there you go.
Sorry. Dude, this is like this is you want to talk about bringing Indiana Jones full circle? I mean, the music is there too, Dave. You talked about the
Yep,
music earlier.
I can hear it.
I mean, I'm getting goosebumps.
Well, I love the fact
I
that
can't love this enough.
it wasn't just a half-assed one. It's like,
Yes.
no, that's the same place he pointed to.
Yes.
That's the same.
Yeah.
And that right there is perfect too. They didn't do the close-up kiss. No, it's too like I hate to phrase this, but elderly people in an awesome, we just came back together kiss. Like it was so classy.
Mm-hmm.
And then this ending right here, just with the, oh my God, this movie rules, man. Dave, I'm so glad you suggested watching this. God, this movie keeps getting better and better. Oh man, this movie rules. I love this. It's like, yep, his hat's hung up. And then this.
And yeah. And
Yeah,
then
no stinger, no post-credit scene, no nothing.
Yeah,
So
you don't.
Cheers. Oh.
Oh, I mean, what else to say? I really enjoyed this, and the people who didn't are, there are very few moments that you can really complain
Also,
about.
what a crazy bit of contrast, because like immediately the card of "you may also like" came up, and it's Raiders of the Lost Ark, and there's Indy and Marion right there.
Yep.
Right.
I get the same. It's Raiders. And if it wasn't like 12:30 at night, I might be like persuaded to go, oh, just play.
Double watch along. All right, guys, let's reset the counter. Yeah, that movie, I mean, like whereas I've said I understand why people don't like Crystal Skull, I don't understand why people wouldn't like this one.
Yeah.
I can understand the time travel part at the end. That gets a little goofy. But I think if you're a fan of Indiana Jones, how you don't like this movie, I don't understand it, because again, it humanizes Indiana Jones. It hits all of AJ. You always say the member berries, but you also say hits you in the feels. Like it hits all of those great spots, but it's not syrupy. It's not over the top. It's just enough with a modern story. It's, AJ, I think you said that, like, it was more modern presentation, and Dave, again, to your point, like it's kind of minor, even little things like the music. Every once in a while, I call it a spike. I know it's not a correct musical term. I'm a singer. I'm an idiot. But like when you dun, 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 like for a quick second, like it's got all those little beats in this. It's an Indiana Jones movie. And I really think that as this movie ages, I think fans are going to latch onto this one, because I think once it really because the original 3 have such nostalgia behind them. Once this one gets to the point of nostalgia, oh, that was the last Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Oh, now that I've gone back to it, I really see this and I really see that. It ties into the other 3 so well. Crystal Skull, unfortunately, is always going to be the outlier, which is fine because we have this one, which is just the ultimate capper to Indiana Jones. I'll step off my soapbox now.
Well, no, I hope people listen and people in charge of this listen for a good long while, which is don't mess with this.
Thank you.
Let it go here.
Yeah.
Leave it be. And I mean, I understand some of the reasons why this movie didn't hit or why it wasn't called a success, which is, well, they spent bazillions of dollars on this movie. You cannot give movies a completely and totally overly bloated budget and expect them to quadruple 10 times that amount. Yet you needed to spend the amount of money you spent on this movie. This movie needed to cross the globe. It needed to have the big stars. Is pay Harrison Ford whatever the hell he wants for this movie. You know, but
could you imagine the suggestion if someone said, "What if we did? It's the last Indiana Jones movie. What if we did a low budget Indiana Jones movie?" Could you imagine the asshole that would have that idea?
Like, I'm sure it was floated.
Yeah, Bob Chapek.
Well,
no,
how? Like, you can't. I get it. You got to make money off of whatever you do. But at some point, when something is this iconic, it becomes something that's about legacy. Like like if you are the guy, like for example, Top Gun Maverick. If you're going to do a sequel to Top Gun, if it costs you more money than it will make, but every single Top Gun fan on the planet goes, that's what I wanted to see. That is amazing. It's worth it. You're going to make your money back in spades later down the road and stuff like that. Like, and the legacy of saying, yeah, I actually made the impossible sequel. Like at some point that has to have value, especially when we're talking about a movie like this with Lucasfilm and all the money that they have behind them. For Bob Chapek, I don't know the story. AJ, obviously from what you're saying, he basically said, let's like cheapen it up or whatever. But go ahead.
No, I'm just saying he was chasing profits over everything. So if there was a way to
completely, if anyone had that conversation, it was him. Don't know that he had it, but if anybody did,
no,
likely suspect.
Like James Mangold now has the distinction of being able to say, and it'll get stronger and stronger over the years, just like Hayden Christensen in Star Wars. I was the one. I was the only person to make an Indiana Jones movie that wasn't George Lucas or Steven Spielberg, and everybody loved it. And I closed out this iconic character over a 42-year span and did it where the fans love it. Like that, like, I mean, seriously, he got paid like what, 10, 20, 40, whatever $1 million to direct the movie. But don't you think like he could, like, sorry to use this phrase, walk around with his dick in his hand going, yeah, but dude, people love my Indiana Jones movie because I made Indiana Jones. I made Indiana Jones better. Like there's value to that. A lot of value.
So here's where I think Crystal Skull fits into the legacy of Indiana Jones. I think it was the exact amount of quality it needed to be, meaning it was not successful, so they didn't pump out more. They were clearly trying to. They were trying to set up Shia LaBeouf as like the heir apparent.
That is a very good point.
It did not set up future stories, but it also wasn't so bad that it was like untouchable forever, but it left just enough of a bad taste in everybody's mouth where they're like, we can do this. We can do this right, but we're going to have to wait a while.
Well, and also we got to fix this.
Well, yeah, exactly. So like the studio wanted to send it off on a better note. the actors, I'm sure, like Harrison Ford, probably definitely wanted to have a better finale for Indiana Jones than Crystal Skull. So like everybody was on board with trying to do it better. And if they hadn't botched Crystal Skull in just the right way, this movie would not have come to pass.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. You know how we work on this channel, right? Is, you know, you guys go off and you do other things and you talk about multiple properties, but primarily our watch along, other than movies we're thankful for in this, it's the Star Wars channel. What you just said makes a whole lot of sense. I like it. Is Rise of Skywalker the same thing?
Yeah, I think we're getting the new Jedi Order movie with Daisy Ridley because of Rise of Skywalker. And not because it was so good that we've just got to do more of that.
It's not the new Daisy Ridley movie. The new Jedi Order Daisy Ridley movie. It's the new trilogy. We've talked about this. There's no goddamn way that if they do a movie with Daisy Ridley, like, hey, the Jedi Order's back, it's going to be a single movie. That is, we're gonna get 10, 11, and 12. It's happening. You can't not do it. You can't.
But
Depends on how bad it
really
is.
hoping they don't approach it like that, though. Because remember, part of what made the original Star Wars so great was that George had this idea for a larger story in his head. And he's like, I can only tell a chunk of it. So let me find the best chunk that could stand on its own, just in case it doesn't work out and I don't get to make any more. So
But
I want the best Rey movie we can get, with the knowledge that there is a rough framework for more story if they decide to go in
But you gotta shoot this movie like there is no tomorrow. Don't leave wide open gaps. And that, because that's was part of the magic that George has. It's like, okay, maybe we'll get another one, maybe we won't get another one. This is what I got.
Yeah.
You could definitely leave the second one on a cliffhanger. That's fine, because at that point, you know that you're getting the third one.
Yeah.
You got 2 out of 3.
Not the first one.
You can give it that.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I don't see how you possibly do that. Like, first of all, bringing Rey back for a single movie, you can't do that. She's the new Luke Skywalker. You can't, you can't. It's just like The Force Awakens. Everyone's waiting for Luke Skywalker. He's in it for 30 seconds, and everyone's like, "What the fuck was that? Are you shitting me? Like, you're not gonna do that with Rey. Like, make this awesome Star Wars movie, then go, forever." People are like, seriously? And especially like when you have a character that has starred in their own trilogy, to just do a movie that basically is a coda. It's like epilogue. You can't. You cannot do that. You can't.
But what
It's like
we're
Matrix
saying
Resurrection.
is go ahead, fine, give me a trilogy with Rey, but don't act like you're going to give me a trilogy with Rey. Is end that sucker. Have something there. So, because especially not, I have a plan for the next 3 movies, and then corporate decides to get a new director who just does whatever the hell they want.
Yes. Well, I think, I mean, Dave, and this is speaking, obviously, AJ, you'll agree with this too, I'm sure. Write a story and then chop it into 3 pieces. That's what the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy did. It was one story, here's a movie. Oh no, I'm chopping it into 3 pieces. That's where you get the cohesiveness from. And to your point, Dave, you said it many times tonight, you were spot on. You get these other directors, with the sequel trilogy, it's like, well, I'm going to do this. No, I want to do that. No, I want to do that. And, love it or hate it, and people can deny it all they want, but a lot of Rise of Skywalker felt like J.J. Abrams pissing on Rian Johnson. And it was, it wasn't cool.
That was the issue. You go just from JJ to Ryan, and then JJ has to come back and bring it back because Ryan I'm sure there were notes on where JJ was going that Ryan just like done.
Yep.
As well he should have.
Now hopefully,
to your point,
fuck JJ Abrams. Fuck JJ Abrams. You know what? He screwed up Star Trek, because basically his second movie, he just remade Wrath of Khan, but in reverse, which was absolute trash. Then he gets into Star Wars and he remakes A New Hope, kills Han Solo, then shits on the Last Jedi, which was the most George Lucas thing that has happened to Star Wars since George Lucas sold the franchise. So J.J. Abrams sucks up his ass. You know what, AJ? We're gonna do an episode in defense.
You're a hard act to follow. You know that? I had something I was going to say, but it just is going to sound stupid now.
It's our next episode now.
Forget it. Move on.
In defense of not J.J. Abrams.
In defense of anyone but JJ.
Yeah. Am I wrong when you line those things up? He screwed up. He screwed up Star Trek, and look, the second Star Trek movie. What did he do? He ripped off Wrath of Khan.
I'm really trying to think of like the last great original J.J. Abrams thing.
Thank you. He seriously ripped off Wrath of Khan. How do you do that? You can't touch Wrath of Khan, and you can't touch A New Hope. Yeah. Yes. So and the same thing with The Force Awakens. He ripped off A New Hope badly. So he's ripped off two of the most iconic sci-fi films ever. And then with
lots of lens flare.
There you go. Yes. I still remember that. Like, God damn it, J.J. Abrams doing Star Wars. There's going to be lens flare everywhere. But yeah, then Rian Johnson, love it or hate it, The Last Jedi is the most George Lucas thing they've done because it just took a total left turn. It was creative. He took a chance, just like George Lucas used to do. And then J.J. Abrams came back in and was like, nah, I'm putting all my shit back in. I'm going to piss on what you did. He's a jerk. He's a jerk. If I ever met J.J. Abrams in person, I'd be like, holy shit, I'm meeting J.J. Abrams. And I would blurt out real fast, you're a fucking jerk. And then go on with the conversation just so I could tell people that I called J.J. Abrams a fucking jerk. Because I wouldn't have the balls to say all this to him.
Call him jerk. Call him jerk. Be like,
here's
JJ.
I hope.
Jerk.
Here's what I hope. That the new position that they have appointed Filoni is essentially that control position. It doesn't all have to be written by Filoni. Please don't let Filoni write everything. Okay? We need to have different voices that bring Star Wars together, but I can't think of anybody in a position to be that throughput line other than maybe Sam Witwer. I'd put Sam there. Sam could do that. He can out Filoni.
This is 5 trips I've now booked to North Carolina to hug you.
But hopefully his job is to sit there and do what apparently Kathy did not and everybody else in the room did not, which is go, wait a minute.
See, I think I agree with you, but I think Favreau is the perfect right-hand man to Filoni because I think Filoni has the same problem that Lucas had, which is like when he's left to his own devices, he can come up with some real crap. And I know I'm just regurgitating stuff we've said on our show, but I hate the Purgles. I hate the World Between Worlds. The Obi-Wan Maul duel in Rebels is trash. I think like it is. People, I just had one of my coworkers try and defend that to me the other day. He sent me like 4 different videos of explaining it, this, that, and the other. And I was like, you do realize when you have to put that much work into explaining why it's good, it sucks. Like it's shit. Okay. When it's built when you build it up that much and you get like 30 seconds, it's crap. And don't tell me it's beautiful, it's poetic. No, it's not. It's shit. It's pure shit. At least let Maul do something. Maul already got shit on in Phantom Menace, and he got shit on again in Rebels.
He
and
literally
no
got
one,
the shaft.
yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. At some point, I'm gonna have to learn to like point to my opposite direction when I'm trying to point at somebody on camera.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, but like I mean, Filoni, like he has like some of the best ideas, but sometimes they need to be tempered. And I think again, that's why The Mandalorian works, because it's a lot of Filoni, and Favreau coming in as a fan can also temper and be like, no, let's keep it a little more grounded. So I completely agree with you, Dave, that like Filoni is the best person by far to make it, to push Star Wars forward. But he's got to have someone to temper him, to tell him ideas like, and I'm not just saying this because I hate the Purgles, but
well, I'm hoping that he's not the creative force and the drive behind everything. I don't think he needs to be there. I think and hope this position is people have to go to him and give him that idea, and he interjects the pieces that connect what they're giving him to
like he's
the
a Star Wars
universe.
funnel. Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
here's
And
my
I
idea.
agree.
Yeah,
I mean, I love Favreau, but Favreau isn't that Star Wars connected person. Favreau is going to go and do something else and do something else and do something else, and they're going to be amazing. I mean, he's created like one of the first, greatest, newest Christmas movies in however many years. He starts the MCU. He does, turns cartoon lions into live action and makes that work. How the hell do you do that? But
it looks amazing in 3D, by the way. I own that in 3D.
Yeah. But anyway, we are going on and on and on. And this is the latest and greatest, longest watch along on the planet. Thank those who tuned in for bits and pieces and all. And but yes, tune in and watch some of the episodes of the Nerf Herder Council. Can you guys give us a preview? Do you guys know what you're going to do in 2 weeks?
We are in discussions. We're trying to figure out something holiday related. My idea is not holiday themed, but I kind of want to talk about, like, last year we did why Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and we also did, that was kind of a bonus episode, but we also did look, Dave, like, seriously, but no, but like
we I'll go down with it.
No, we did last year. We reviewed the Christmas Story sequel, which is excellent. So we talked about that.
Oh yes.
But this year I'm like wondering if we shouldn't watch Christmas Vacation and try to see. Like I'm sorry, I've tried millions of times. Well, not millions literally, but obviously it's exaggeration. But I've tried so many times to watch that movie, and I have so many friends that are into it, and I just don't understand why everyone, like, the only thing I think is funny is when cousin Eddie's out in the driveway, with the RV pipe in the sewer, shitter's full. Like, I'm like, okay, that's funny. Other than that, like, I'm just like, I don't get it. But I also don't think Chevy Chase is funny. So that might be it. So we're thinking about that, but we're coming up with a couple of different ideas, and we're trying to make it holiday themed somehow.
Well, we will be very excited to see what that is and listen to whatever you have to say about it. That will be amusing. But thank you guys for joining us and stepping in on this when Spencer is roaming Florida, but yet can't not tune in to hear and checking in. What are you doing? Like, okay, Dad, turn off the security camera.
He knows everything's in good hands with the Nerf Herder.
Thanks for those of you watching. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you guys again next time. Join us on the network. There's hopefully gonna be a new episode of the Unifying Force on Sunday. Hopefully. And next week we will have some Rebels Revisited, our Tuesday night Zoom. Join us there and do this thing right here in person. and you can be just as snarky back to us in live. So
Yep.
till then, thanks everybody. Good night. May the force be with you.
You too, Dave. Thanks, everyone. See you on the Nerf Herder Council and on the Virtual Cantina Network.
Thank you, guys.